Hello! What is going on? I was doing a little cleaning up. I got a little water on the hat. It adds character. The James Brown of streaming is back, though I prefer the Arn Anderson. And I don't want to hear any jokes about me shaking this in an effeminate way. It's just my energy drink for the morning. I don't drink coffee. You rotten bastard. Look at this guy, Intel Wild. Absolute Chad on the stream last night. Let me tell you. This guy came through in such a big way. It's great to see you, Intel Wild. And everyone else as well. Dorothy's a bad girl. She's doing good. But she keeps trying to get into these stitches. So more of the cone for Dorothy. Dorothy's my dog. She had surgery. She's doing much better as far as energy. Appetite's back. For a while, and this is a little gross to say, but because of the pain she was in, I think she was having difficulty wanting to go outside to use the restroom. So we had a couple accidents on the floor. But now it almost looks back to her normal self. And so she's doing very well, and you're very kind for asking. So, anyways, we got a great show for you today. Normal American Show. There's my man. Look at this guy. Maybe we got some plans here. I was actually talking to Mirnachuk here. We're going to do some stuff coming up in the future I think you guys are going to be really excited about. It's his project, but I'm happy to be on board with it. And I think it's going to be some good stuff, man. So try my best to reach out and work with people that I respect as streamers. And I think it's panning out. I think I got some good shows coming up, and that's one of the ones I'm most excited about. So we were talking through that. I did wear the good shirt today. Now, this is the shirt I'll be wearing. Mr. E told me the extravaganza. He's like, you need to have a look. Wear a polo. There you go. Here's a fact. I'm still fat. The polo didn't make me in shape all of a sudden. But here I am. Here I am, baby. Polo and all. Yeah, did you guys like that? The Connor stuff? Yeah. The big Robowski? Yeah. We're here, baby. We're up for it. Look at this guy, Hasbar. Remember, 7 months says morning. We're up morning to you. I wake up. I plan for some future shows. I stream. I pick up my son. I plan for the extravaganza. I do the extravaganza. I have dinner. I come upstairs. I stream. I go to bed at 3:30 in the morning. I wake up, plan for future shows, stream, pick up my son, do the extravaganza, eat dinner. Then I do a debate starting at 8 p.m., stream till 3:30, or go to bed at 3:30. And the beat goes on. It goes on and on and on. Now, I'll get burned out if I continue at this pace, but I'm not going to. Just so we know, we're not going to continue at this breakneck speed. So, that's right. Shh. My wife's probably watching this. They're not supposed to know that. Yeah, we were bullshitting on the phone about some show ideas, and I told him, I was like, it's all good. My wife was trying to get me to help clean the house, and I could be like, I got a call. It's a work call. I got to... So this will be the last call-in show of the week, sadly. Tomorrow, I have a friend coming into town, which I'm very much looking forward to. And then Friday, my son has off school, and so we're going to do, to the best of our ability, we're going to try to do like a corn maze type thing, though it's supposed to rain really bad. So if that's the case, then we'll probably get some pumpkins and carve at the house and do all that kind of good stuff. But I'm looking forward to spending a day with family. So, yeah, we talked about a 20-plus K, 1K show. What are my subs at? I didn't check. I got to open my own stream anyway, so I could. So we got a show for you today. I thought we'd do things a little differently. We're going to talk about a chess tragedy, which I kind of talked about, but I think I have a different sort of spin on it. Not really a spin. I mean, 19.8K. I could get to 20,000. I'm 200 subs away from 20,000. Here's the deal, right? Just between us. Like this isn't public. Would I have done a 20K celebration stream if I wasn't involved in some drama? Probably. But I'll admit it feels a little petty to do one now since, the other channel had a 20K sub stream and they lost some subs. So part of it feels petty. Now I know my audience is like gung ho, do the 20K stream. But I don't know. We'll probably do something. I probably will, because for me, it is not a thumbing in the eye of any other channel. It is literally just a celebration. Maybe I'll do 25K. I think that makes sense. Look at this! Sabotaged by my own wife. Damn you, wife. It is true I am wearing gym shorts. I think I'll do a 25K sub stream. That sounds right. I did one at 10K, which was only a few months ago. Now we'll do one at 25K, and then we'll do one at 100. How's that sound? That seems fair, right? I don't think that anyone could accuse that of being petty. I think that's fair. But anyways, neither here nor there. We're not going to talk about that. First off, get those super chats in. You're not going to believe this. You're gonna lose your mind when you hear this. With all the crazy shit going on in the world, and all 50K, maybe I'll do a 50K too. Yeah. All the crazy shit going on in the world. Here's the deal. There's drama. There's me getting involved in stuff. There's politics. Some of the stuff you hear, you just can't believe it's coming out of people's mouth. You're not going to believe this. 2 days ago, I had someone reach out to me. And they said one of the most heinous things that I could imagine. I could not believe I heard this. This was just 2 days ago. Now, I kept it to myself until now. But they said it publicly, so I think it's fair game. This person reached out 2 days ago and said the following. This is unbelievable. $357 a day is highly unreasonable. Can you believe that? This guy, Austin Hall, 2 days ago made that claim. I think you're unreasonable, sir. I can't believe it. Every time I come on to stream, every 2 days ago, Austin Hall said that. There's the proof. People keep saying that can't be true. Every 2 days ago, he says that. Yes, there's the proof. So, what we're going to do about that is we're not going to let this guy win. We think he's unreasonable. We're going to break the goal of $357 today. We're going to shatter that goal. We're going to have an awesome stream. We're going to get a lot of subs. We're going to get a lot of people calling in with great talking points. We're going to convince the audience that actually it's not the audience that's really smart and they're making good points and I'm just sitting here agreeing. But for some reason, there's a reason to tune in to me. So it's a fine line, I got to quickly boot anyone who's smarter than me. Oh, yeah, I got to go. Jason calls in, starts talking about the show. I'll be like, we got to go. We got to go. By the way, don't check out Jason Mirnachuk's channel. It's a shit channel. Old Joe's calling in. He's pretty smart. Let's get him out of here. We'll get time for that. Spiro's calling in. I'm smarter than Spiro. We can have him call in. No problem. It should be a good show. So I'll talk to you about the ideas I had to talk about, but obviously, as you know, on the call-in show, we can talk about whatever you like. We're here till 2:30. Let's start. Halouse, $20. Thank you, my friend. Says, who's this handsome, overweight, well-spoken Pennsylvania on my screen? I might have to give him $20 for his Sheetz fund. Oh, man. They don't even know. These people. Look, I'm not saying that Sheetz is better than Buc-ee's. But what I am saying is that Sheetz is ours. It's our thing. And so, I love it. Go for a little MTO business at Sheetz. Thank you so much, Halouse. And Halouse lives was it you that lived? No, it's not you. The one dude that calls in, he lives in the heart of Sheetz country, where the first Sheetz was. Look at this guy. Mirnachuk now. who I'm going to be happy to be working with here in the future. $20 says for the grift. I'll take it. Also, when we talk, when we do a show together, it's going to sound like he's like smarter than me and a better debater and all that good stuff. But that's just an illusion. That's the look we're going for. We're intentionally going for that look that I sound like a blowhard idiot. You see? So anytime you see me and it looks like someone's better than me, it's all intentional. That's how smart I am. I've planned that ahead way in the future. Halouse, $10 says, Rob, your channel's been blacklisted. So many people reported you. Andrew Wilson spoke of this. He said if you made a new channel, you'd zoom past 25K in a month. Really? He said that. He's told me that in the past. I don't know. Maybe I will make a new channel, though it seems like I have momentum now. So it seems like it'd be a dumb time. I might as well ride up the momentum now. And then if I hit a wall or something, because it looks like there's something artificial going on, maybe at that point, I would decide to create a second channel. But yeah, he's told me that in the past. And even in my conversation I was having there earlier, right? Like it is, I don't know. Like I said, all my videos, I was deleting all my videos because I get mass reported. But then I was basically hearing that that screws up the algorithm, which I didn't know. But Jason called in and was talking to me, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I asked him. I said, if I put it to private, does it affect my algorithm?" He's like, "I don't think as much." But, anyways, Z Hex $10 says, "Here's some grift. Blank her. Run your channel the way you want. She's not significant." I agree. We'll do 25,000. I think that's fair. BJC $5 says, "Austin, you son of a gun." Yeah, the rotten prick. Ivan Oliveras, nice to hear from you again. What a Chad. $50 says W Rub. Thank you. We'll show that prick Austin Hall yet. Speaking of which, Kokomo gives $10 says, "Suck it, Austin Hall." Uh-huh. And BJC, Austin Hall, you're on notice. Oh, shit. Oh, snap. Yeah, Black Elk's killing it, man. You're making a big mistake if you're not following me on YouTube. My editor, Black Elk, is absolutely amazing. So even if you can't catch all of the live streams, he takes out the best parts of them and puts them into digestible 15, 20-minute chunks. It's good stuff. Bat Fricker, $10. O'Keefe just dropped a new vid. More shell company BS. Sounds like the DOJ's investigating. Jail. That I have to watch. I know that he put a new video out. I haven't had a chance to watch it, so I wasn't going to talk about it yet. Black Jaden, thanks so much, man. Remember, 12 months says, "So we going hard for the 20K party stream?" We're going to do a 25K party stream, but we will go hard. And Rough Hands, member for 8 months, says, "Panelverse." Oh, shit. Let's do this one.
When people fuck with the Panelverse that way, I think he doesn't know the power of the Panelverse.
I guess you're right, Sam. Yeah, that was someone from my audience sent me that one. That was pretty good. Yeah, I know that got loud. I forgot that one gets loud. Sorry. All right. I promise I'll keep getting the super chats. Courtney Knorr, new member. Wow. You sound attractive. Is that the real Courtney Knorr? I'll find out if that's really her. She's downstairs, so. All right. I promise. Keep getting the super chats in. We'll get to them all. 2 stories, one to call over today. Some of these soft on crime stories, there's too many to count. We know that, like, the savage that killed Arena, he had been let out, 37 times. This story, though, this one's horrific. This guy shot a toddler. Let's see if I can find this story. James Rayford, a Charlotte, North Carolina man who has been arrested 19 previous times, including for assaulting multiple government employees, has been arrested again for shooting a 3-year-old and has been released from prison without bond. Now, this is difficult because I think there are policies that I agree with that you would think, most of my audience would think would mean I'm soft on crime. Let me give you an example. I think that the condition of many of our prisons is despicable. I do not think that you should go to prison for some white collar crime, as shitty as it may have been, and maybe you deserve 20 years in prison or something. But I don't think it should be a jungle. I don't think it should be the type of situation where you're looking at potentially being abused in a sexual nature. That's bullshit. So I'm for making the conditions. If you want harsher sentences, fine. Advocate for harsher sentences. But the idea that these jails are and prisons in many cases are in despicable conditions, I don't care for that. I don't know what the answer is, but I've talked about that a lot. However, we are too, it is so evident at this point, intentionally, we are too soft on violent crime. Now, even I fell for this trope for a long time of the 3 strikes stuff. 3 strikes, oh my God, some guy got arrested for a candy bar. And that's terrible. He shoplifted a candy bar and now he's looking at 15, 20 years. That's bullshit. That almost never happens. And the truth is, we could eliminate 50% of serious crime in this country just with a universally applied 3-strike law. Prior arrests of persons admitted to state prisons in 34 states in 2014. So you get into state prison, how many prior arrests have you had? 1, 2, 3. 3 or less prior arrests makes up what? 6 and a half, 12. 17%. If you said, that's it, you're not getting out after that 3rd one, then look at the numbers that we would lose. 4 prior arrests, over 6%. 5 prior arrests, over 6%. 6 prior arrests, over 6%. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Look at this list. And then nearly 5% of state prison population is made up by people who have been arrested more than 31 times. Now, this isn't a direct comparison. What does arrest mean? Does it mean arrested for a violent crime, et cetera, et cetera? I get it. But the truth is, so much of this, there are people that are not fit to be on the street. That's it. We shouldn't have to. Listen, I live in a relatively safe area of the world. This doesn't directly affect me most of the time. There's still crime here. There's still the same shitheads. There's still, if something happens in town, you could guess who it was. But man, how do you look at these people that live in like inner cities that deal with this shit on a daily basis and say, deal with it, sorry. It's truly shocking. They couch it in like, you're racist if you talk about it. You're racist if you don't. You don't give a shit what happens to these inner city communities. We played that video yesterday of the All In podcast where that black woman in Chicago or DC was like, I'm talking to friends that are like, it took Trump 90 days. I feel safer in my city than I have my entire life. Shocking. The other story to talk about, and of course we can talk about whatever you want. I was just trying to throw news stories out there for people to talk. So we're about to put the call-in number out. The other story that I think is worth talking about is something completely different. It's a chess tragedy. And I talked about this the past 2 nights on stream a little. Daniel Naroditsky, one of the biggest chess commentators in the world, arguably the best. Real nice, soft-spoken guy. Seems like a really cool guy. Now, I'm not going to know all the details as much as people. I follow chess casually. Now, there's a reason I'm bringing up this story outside the scope of it's an interest that I have. I think there's something, even if you don't give 2 shits about chess, that I want to talk about here. So I'll be as quick as possible. First, God bless Daniel, his family. I know it's got to be a brutal time. Levy is probably the biggest chess streamer, and that's why I'm bringing this up. Levy from Gotham Chess, I saw his video today, which is what prompted me to want to talk about this, because although I think Levy makes an interesting point, I think that there's like sort of a counter argument. So I'll try to quickly give you the background story, because I know most people aren't going to find this very interesting. So I want to get it to the point where a casual person that's not a fan of chess could be like, okay, I see why this is sort of an interesting thing to think about. Daniel Naroditsky is this chess streamer. He's very popular. There's this former world champion named Kramnik. Now, Kramnik has been on this spree for the past 2-3 years of accusing everyone of cheating. Now, the truth is, cheating in chess is actually a real problem. Now, the reason that it is because if you didn't know this, computers have far outpaced human players in chess. And so you could play Magnus Carlsen, the greatest chess player in the world, arguably the greatest chess player in the history of the world. And if you have access to a simple computer on your phone, a chess engine, you would beat him 9,999 times out of 10,000. That's crazy to think that every single person has a simple device that could beat the best in the world at this activity that's been celebrated as this intellectual exercise at least for 100 years. I mean, further if you go back. It's a surreal thought. It's a closed system game. The computers they haven't mastered it. There's still room to go for the computers, but they far outpaced. Well, yeah, you could beat different AIs, but the most advanced AIs. Of course, he's done those are called simultaneously. Yes, Magnus and many, many other people have done simultaneously. Well, they'll play. There are people that do blind simultaneous. They'll put blindfolds on and play 10 people at once. It's incredible, the ability that some of these players have. But Stockfish is the general chess engine that most people use. And Stockfish would dominate the national or the world chess champions. It just would. And you could run it easily on your computer. Now, the more processing power you have, the more advanced you could make. So, it's a strange thing, because if I'm debating right now, you could use AI, but you still, no matter what it tells you, you still have to formulate an argument in a cohesive way. But if we're playing chess right now and you're cheating, what am I going to do about it? How would I know? Now, there's ways. There's certain patterns and things like that you could be able to detect. There's programs that you could analyze someone's computer. But just as a casual sense, I would have no way of knowing. So Jim Bob talked about playing some chess with me. Jim Bob theoretically could cheat, or I could cheat Jim Bob. Why the other wouldn't know. So it's an interesting thing. It's a huge problem, even at the top levels of chess, where there are accusations. And there have been people that have been found out to be cheating online. There was a famous story where the world chess champion, Magnus Carlsen, accused his in real life opponent of cheating. And it was wild. There were people talking about he may have had like something inserted in his anus that was vibrating to tell him what. He had a friend backstage that's like telling him what moves to make. Wild accusations. Not making this up. This is literally the biggest chess story in the world at one point. If you follow chess, anyone could back me up here. Anyone who follows chess could back this up. True story, man. Wild shit. Absolutely wild shit, right? Yeah, his name was Hans Niemann, the guy that was accused of cheating. Now, I don't think they were ever able to prove it. Problem is, Hans has admitted to cheating when he was younger in online chess. Now the problem is, anytime he beats someone that's ranked higher than them, there's going to be a suspicion. Are you cheating now? If you cheated once a cheater, always a cheater. So this shit's real. It's real that there is a real problem with cheating in the chess community. Now enter this guy Kramnik. Kramnik's just accusing everyone of cheating. Fuck you. You beat me, you cheat. You beat me, you cheat. You beat me, you cheat. You're Hikaru Nakamura, probably the biggest live stream chess, blitz player in the world. You cheat. Daniel Naroditsky, you cheat. Now the problem is, once in a while, if you're accusing everyone of cheating, you're going to find someone who's cheating. So people can point and say, yeah, but Kramnik's probably right about this guy. Yeah, but he accused 50 people. Now, this is people's livelihood. This is the equivalent if you're not a nerd and you're into another nerdy shit like baseball. Imagine that a professional baseball player had came out and been like, Mark McGwire's on steroids, like as they're playing them. Like just publicly said it. That's the equivalent of what's happening. And it's like, yeah, maybe he is. But if you're just like, and by the way, everyone that hit more than 20 home runs is on steroids. Well, maybe not. Maybe you're just blindly accusing people, right? Can you shut up about baseball? There we go. So, Naroditsky, he gets accused of cheating, and Naroditsky's a very soft-spoken guy. I very much enjoyed his videos, and he gets accused of cheating. How do you prove you're not cheating? He's like, I show up to real-life events. I perform very well. I have a camera set up on my screen, a camera behind me. I'm trying to, like, everything possible to show you while I'm playing online here. I'm not cheating. I'll read this one real quick. Jimmy Barton, thanks so much for being a member. Really appreciate it. Naughty Germ, as always, thank you for the $5. Really appreciate it. And then Jeff Rademacher, $10 says cheating in online poker has been a thing since it's been online. Because online poker is illegal in the US, it doesn't get the same attention. Absolutely correct. Poker's another thing with certain engines and stuff. Your performance could be incredible. You could play impeccable poker. And if you're doing it online and cheating, any layman who learns how to use these poker engines could beat some of the best players in the world, just like that. And you're talking serious money. Chess, it's not the same that you're putting up money, but there's definitely clout and financial prizes and things of that nature. So poor Daniel, I can't say whether or not he's cheating or not. I don't know. It looks to me like there's no evidence. So it was a big thing, and a bunch of the online chess community talked about the drama. Here goes Kramnik again. Now he's accusing Naroditsky. And then it sort of died out. But apparently it's been eating at Daniel. And I had heard live on stream 2 nights ago that he had passed away at the age of 29. And the rumors were already starting that it looked like he took his own life. And that looks exactly like what happened now. It looks like he did take his own life. And it looks like he took his own life because of this cheating accusation. Now, I played this last night, but this is so eerie. This is his last video, I think just a few days before. Now, I'm open to being wrong that he didn't take his own life, but based on other streamers that I'm seeing, it looks like that's the case.
Well, let's get the show on the road. Welcome, everybody, to another speedrun episode. You thought I was gone forever, but little do you know, I'm back and better than ever.
It's eerie. Not Siri. Go away. I said it's eerie. Terrible. Now, if it is true that he took his own life, and it seems that that's the case, as he's saying that, he's having those thoughts. You thought I was gone forever. He talks at the end of that stream about basically, well, I can't leave on a win because everyone will accuse me of cheating. So I have to make sure I play until I lose. Now, the head of the national I was watching Levy from Gotham Chess. And we'll play it. Now, Levy, as you might have guessed, he's a fellow debate streamer, arguably the most viewed chess streamer in the world. Now, Levy's he's friends with Daniel Naroditsky. He's on his way to the funeral. And he puts this video out, not monetized. You can see he has 6.8 million subs, and we'll speed this up a little and get to the relevant part.
Hi, folks. I didn't want to make a video about this for a little while. And just like the last video on the subject, nothing in this video is monetized. It's just me trying to send a message to all of you on the biggest platform, the biggest microphone that I have. It's currently 9 a.m. where I am. And soon I will be flying to the funeral of a friend, of a pillar of the chess community, of a brilliant man, Daniel Naroditsky. It still doesn't feel real. It's like a bad dream that you just want to wake up from. And I wanted to wait a little while. Maybe talk to the
Gotham
family,
normally has a
see what
slow
was the best way to
cadence, so
unite the
this
chess community moving
1.5
forward.
team speed
Not
sounds.
just in an attempt to honor Danya, but frankly, in an attempt to bring him and his family any sort of justice for what Danya went through for the past year and a half. And of course, I'm talking about rampant attacks, effectively, accusations of foul play in chess from a former world champion in Vladimir Kramnik, who we're going to talk about all that. I thought there would be a time and a place. It's very difficult to separate the horrible news of Danya's passing with the treatment he received from the former world champion, an idol of his. There's a photo on the internet of Danya as a child standing next to Kramnik. And for me, it was a conversation that can happen after a grieving period. But after what I saw this morning, I woke up and I am sick to my stomach. And I want to record this before I go to the airport because this has to stop. I don't know what to do. I will try to play some sort of role in it, a key role. But what I saw this morning is making me sick to my stomach, and I need to get it off my chest, okay? So very quick context. For the better part of, let's say, 2 years, Vladimir Kramnik took it upon himself to become the person that is going to solve fair play, to say things about cheating in chess that nobody's willing to say because, as in his own words, censorship, chess.com censoring the content creators or the grandmasters or whatever it is. You know it. I mean, he's accused Hikaru Nakamura directly for 2 years at this point, and Hikaru has sort of gotten over it, to the best of his ability. I woke up this morning to the following. Okay, and I'm sorry, I'm rambling a little bit.
This is the
Please
key
bear
point.
with me. I woke up to this post. This is a post from Emil Sutovsky, the frequent person on this channel, CEO of FIDE. Amount of love given to Danya post-mortem is unprecedented. I can't recall anything of the kind, but here's the problem. Where are all of you when Danya was alive and unwell? I'm not talking about stepping in when he was accused, although it's a separate important matter. I know many people find it hard to express their opinion as the problem is huge and striking a balance is impossible. One thing is clear, the way Kramnik approaches it simply can't be accepted, and his reaction on Danya's passing is appalling and outright shameful. FIDE is not a court of justice, but we will act within our jurisdiction. However, let's not oversimplify it. It is too simple to focus on Kramnik. Danya was clearly not at his best in recent months. He stopped appearing as a commentator for one reason or another. He was not his usual self. Now, all those who claim dear Danya was to their heart, how good a friend they were. Where have you been? What did you do? All those Kramnik attacks on Danya happened not this week or month. It was not a shocking accusation that killed Danya overnight. It kept haunting him for more than a year, even if there was not much more polemics of recent. So I ask you, alleged Danya's friends, what did you do to help him for half a year? Did many of you write to him and ask whether he's okay? Why he, arguably the best commentator online, disappeared from the screen? Did you text him to ask him why he stopped streaming? Then he talks about his own experiences with Danya.
Now, this is the point. That's why I bring this up. Now, Gotham's gutted. I think if you follow, I've followed Gotham chess for a long time, Daniel Naroditsky for a long time. This is his friend. This would be the equivalent of like one of the people that call in the show, a fellow streamer. Like, I don't want to be morbid, but let's say that like something happened to EOD or something. I'd be gutted. I mean, it's fucking horrible, right? And this is his friend. He's on his way to the funeral, and the head of the World Chess Organization, FIDE, is basically like, well, where were his friends? What were you doing? That's brutal. And, Levy goes on to explain, he's like, listen, we were dealing with him behind the scenes, but here's the thing. A lot of times someone has self-harm thoughts, you might not even know, even if you are their friend. And he's like, we didn't want to bring more attention to this by talking about it. At some point, you just say, fuck it, this Kramnik guy's crazy. We're just not going to deal with it. Now, Reptar, some of the things you're saying. Yes, Kramnik was one of Naroditsky's heroes. Apparently, Naroditsky has a picture of himself with Kramnik when he's a child. So this is your hero accusing you of this. Now, the reason I bring this up, one, because I follow chess, and so it's something I happen to see. But there is a philosophical conundrum here. even if you don't follow chess. That's very interesting. And I think it says a lot about sort of our morality and what our philosophical views are when a terrible situation occurs. Who do you blame for this? What's the right answer going forward? First off, it's belittling to think of this as sort of an exercise in morality when someone's life is gone. And I do truly, from the bottom of my heart, Naroditsky seemed like a very nice man, and it's horrible. It's horrible that this occurred. And I'm reading the context clues. I haven't had anyone come blatantly out and say, yes, he ended his life like with the cause of death. But it's clear from the context clues that the way everyone's talking that knows what's up, that's what it seems likely happened. So then, what's the blame? He didn't do it because Kramnik, he had personal issues. Maybe. That could be true. As horrible as it is to say, when someone ends their own life, is it fair to blame other people? Even if other people treated him poorly in some way? If I go on the extravaganza today and Jake's like, yeah, you fat bastard, Rob, and then I harm myself, is that Jake's fault? Even if you think, Jake, that was a little over the line. I don't think so. I don't think you say, yep, Jake, you're morally responsible for the death of a person. I don't think so. What do you do? What would, to the people that are like, it's all Kramnik's fault. Let's assume it is. Let's assume there weren't other personal demons. And Naroditsky, this one chess player ends his life because this more famous chess player or this world champion accused him of cheating, right? Let's assume that's what happened, just for the sake of argument, right? If you go hard in on the other guy, what happens if Kramnik ends his life? Are you responsible then? What's the moral principle here? What's our philosophical underpinning? If Kramnik really believed this dude was cheating, why shouldn't he be allowed to say it? On the other hand, if some dude's just willy-nilly accusing people of basically their entire life's work being a fraud, and he's basically whipping people into a frenzy, and then someone ends their own life, isn't there some moral culpability there? I don't know. It's really a difficult conundrum. Then it gets even crazier. How much do you blame friends in a situation like this? Should the friends have spoken up more? Should they have been like, fuck you, Kramnik. We're not going to do any events that you go to, you piece of shit, because you accused our friend of this. Are we even certain that Kramnik was wrong? As horrible as it is to say, and I'm just saying this as a mental exercise, I mean, there is the possibility that Daniel was cheating. Then what? What if it comes out later that somehow there's proof? He left a letter. It's like, you're right, I have a guilty conscience, I cheated. Then what? Is Kramnik a monster then? You might say, well, yeah, but Kramnik didn't have proof. He was just throwing out accusations, so still. But then the question that it's fucked up as this all is, the final question's almost the most interesting to me. What happens in the chess community going forward now? Because no doubt cheating is a problem. And now, you ain't going to want to accuse anyone. After what you saw just happen to Danya, you're going to be like, well, you might think 100%, like, no fucking way, this guy had to cheat. But you ain't going to say nothing. If it won't let you super chat, you probably have one or two words that the algorithm thinks is stupid. So what happens? if you're a cheater, now's the time. Everybody's going to be afraid to accuse you. Now, I would know that if I was a grandmaster chess player, or, an international master. In the back of my head, it's not going to be your top priority right now. But in the back of your head, you're going to be like, there are going to be people that exploit this. So then what do? In the back of your head, you're like, there's probably going to be more cheaters now, but I can't accuse. No, I agree with you, me. Kramnik is fucking insane. There is no doubt. He's paranoid. He accuses everyone of cheating. Sometimes he's right. Most of the times he's wrong. And even when he's right, it's not that he has proof. He's going after like, well, statistically, this guy should have lost this game. That's competition, baby. If all competition was with statistics, then we might as well not even play the game. Just put it into the computer who would win based on their statistics. Right. If you accused every grandmaster of cheating, you'd be right 2% of the time. Probably. Right. It's sort of like the Nostradamus effect. If you make 1 billion predictions and 1 or 2 come true and people are like, wow, what a genius. I think there's no doubt that Kramnik's a sack of shit. But do you blame him for Danya's death? And then what happens going forward? Yeah, Kramnik accused Hikaru. Now, Hikaru is maybe the best blitz chess player, really fast form of chess in the world. And he's at least top like 3. And Hikaru streams every day, hours upon hours upon hours upon hours of chess, and he plays real life. Like, there is no doubt Hikaru's not cheating. He's fucking an amazing genius. Yet he was accused. So I just thought, like, I would throw this out there. Yes, the chess angle of it's interesting, but do you see the point why I think this is like an interesting philosophical conundrum? Not just the who do you blame when someone takes their own life, but also the part of what do you do in an activity where cheating is so easy and it's a serious problem, but on the other end, there's a problem with people accusing everyone of cheating and now someone's dead. Now what happens? I don't know the answer. Chess may be fucked. That might be the answer. Right. If somebody gets obsessed with me and decides it's an unhealthy relationship and cuts them out of his life, and then that person takes their own life, is it my fault? What if you have online beef with someone? Fuck you, you're a piece of shit. And then all of a sudden, negative consequences occur. A bunch of other people are like, we don't want to associate with you anymore. Who's responsible if someone decides to harm themselves? This shit happens. In the streaming world, we're always dealing with some sort of bullshit drama. It's fucking sad. This is why I'll tell you right now. I know that people are going to think this is bullshit. But from the bottom of my heart, 99% of the online drama that I've been involved in, and it's not much, is just petty online bullshit. That's it. It's not people threatening my family. We had BX on last night. She's dealt with real shit with people threatening her family. She's literally been involved in the FBI arresting people that were making threats to her. That's a different level of fucked up shit. We're talking about, fuck you, I won't do your stream anymore type stuff. That's different. There is not one of these people on the left or the right, and I mean everyone from the Panelverse people to Destiny to Connor, any of them that I am wishing anything ill in their personal life at all. I'm not hoping their channel gets canceled. I'm not hoping that they hemorrhage subs. Nothing like that. I merely am like, fuck you. That's it. The chips fall where they may. But I'm not relishing shit. That's not me. I would have a 20K party, but now I'm afraid that it makes it seem like I'm like, ha ha! And that's not what I'm doing. Destiny's a little different. He does wish death on people, but none of the Panelverse people or any of that bullshit, you know. But it makes you think. It makes you think you're involved in some online drama. Well, here was some online chess drama, and now someone's dead. It's fucked up. And I don't know. I don't know what, like, you know, I guess sometimes I have to remind myself that not everyone's like me. Like, I'm the type of guy that you could be like, fuck you, you fat pig, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, fuck you. And that's it. My life goes on. But I guess not everyone's like that. You know, I would like to think that if instead of like getting really into the debate community and politics and stuff, if I got into chess and I was like a chess streamer and was a pretty successful one, you know, good enough to be talked about amongst, you know, international masters and stuff, and people accuse me of cheating, I'd be like, go fuck yourself. I'm not cheating. And that would be that. You'd argue with them, but I don't think I would think of harming myself. But I guess some people are like that. So I don't know. It's a weird thing. I was just thinking about the morality of it all this morning when I saw that video from Levy. And poor Levy, from his perspective, imagine being Daniel's friend and you're grieving your friend and the dude that's basically, you have to understand, Levy's connected to chess.com, right? And FIDE that runs sort of the International Chess Association. And to have the guy at the head of it basically being like, it's people like Levy's fault that claim to be Danya's friend. Where were you? Imagine that, grieving on the way to the fucking funeral, and this dude that's like the head of chess is like, oh, it's people. Wow. I feel real bad. I feel terrible for so many people involved. I feel terrible, obviously, for Danya and his family and his loved ones, but I feel terrible for his friends. That it's, you just lost a friend, and it's like, yeah, but drama. So, I don't know. I just thought it was interesting, and I know most of you probably don't give two shits about chess, but to me, the story isn't really about chess, to me. It's about these, like, sort of philosophical, what do you do in these situations, you know? I guess the starting point is to just say, listen, if you're ever involved in drama in your life, it too shall pass. It will. It really will. Don't fucking get down in the dump. I know that's easier said than done, but you should have friends in life that'll have your back no matter what. You should have family that'll have your back. And fuck all the haters. You know? Fuck them. And I wish if this is why Danya ended his life, and it looks like that's going to be at least part of it, you know, if I had one thing to say to him, it'd be like that, man. It'd be like, you know how many people respect you? To hell with these haters. To hell with them. It doesn't matter that this was a dude you looked up to that's now doing it. Fuck him. You mean a lot to a lot of people. And a lot of people see how skilled you are. And not just at chess, but also as a commentator. And if I could say to anything to anyone in a similar vein, even if I disliked them and I told them to kiss my ass or something like that, life will go on. Fuck the haters. Move on. You know? It doesn't matter if I like you or not. That's the way life is. Sometimes situations put you opposite of people, and it is what it is. And I know it's like, oh, sure, easy to say. Yeah, I guess. But yeah, you know, life's about getting back up. Everybody gets knocked down. But man, that's sad news. Like I said, the only little bit of Naroditsky like tidbit that I have is he would do these like ratings climbs. So the way chess works is you get a rating like on something like chess.com. A lot of these big chess streamers will start a new account, and they have the permission to do this from chess.com. They'll start a new account and start at the bottom of the ratings, and then they'll work their way up to the highest level they could get. And the idea is you could watch them, and let's say if you're a 600 rated player, here's what 600 rated players are doing. Here's the mistakes that you could see that you've made. Now you know to get a little better. And then if you're 800, and if you're 1,000, if you're 1,500, and if you're 2,000. So the ratings climbs lets you see like, oh, I can sort of see the difference of the levels. When I'm going on Tim Pool's show, like, and listen, I'm someone who, I could talk in front of 1 million people and I'll be all right. But I'd be lying to you if I told you I don't get nervous like in the moments leading up. It's like the old Mike Tyson, where he's talking about how nervous he is before the fight. And then as he's walking to the ring, every step to the ring, he's getting more and more confident until he basically feels like he's a god that no one could touch him once he gets under those ropes. I'm not that, but to a degree, there's truth in the fact that it's like, once you start speaking, totally fine. No problem. I'm going on Tim Pool's show. That's the biggest opportunity I ever had. So I'm in the hotel the night before, and like I think I'm supposed to be over at the studio at like 8 in the morning or 8:30, and it's like 1 in the morning. I'm like, okay, I gotta get some sleep. And I couldn't sleep. So what did I put on? Daniel Naroditsky, ratings climb. I watched it for like 3 hours and I kept telling myself like, dude, you got to get to sleep. What are you doing? But I'm like excited. I'm nervous. That's what I watched. I'll never forget that. I watched 3 hours of his videos. Weird feeling. So, all right, super chats. Then I'll put the call-in link out there. Sorry, a bit weird of a story, but you know, I just thought, to me, it was something that resonated with me. So I don't know if it resonates with you, and if people want to call and talk about that or anything else, we'll get to super chats. We'll put the link out there, and we'll get to the calls. Vincent DaVinci, $5 says, so I did a 2-hour live stream blackpilling liberals today. It was amazing. I bet it felt good. Jeff Rademacher, $5 says, more grip fuel for saying my name right. How about that? I'm related. I'm cousins with people named Radeckers. Not quite the same, but. Shawnee Blonde, $5 says, never meet your heroes. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, according to Gotham Chess there, Levy, that Kramnik was one of Naroditsky's heroes. And he has a picture of him. OTW, what's up, man? $5 says, on behalf of the better side of the Panelverse, respect you in the chat. You know, OTW, someone did send me a link to a video you were doing. So let me be clear here. I'll play a humorous video for a second.
I think he doesn't know the power of the Panelverse.
Oh, shit! Not the Panelverse! Oh, no! Not the fucking Panelverse! Beware the Panelverse! He doesn't run afoul of the Panelverse! Who could know the great Sarah Tomato? The power she wields, the power of the Panelverse. When she says Panelverse there, I'd never heard the term. Now I can intuit what she means there, but I never realized that there were people that would take offense to that. Not me necessarily. When she says Panelverse, I think she's meaning the people that call into the panels on my show and that are in my orbit. So there's regulars that call into her show, and if you fuck with one of them, well, they're all going to band together. But there's an awful lot of people on an awful lot of different shows that call into panels. Why aren't they also part of, quote, the Panelverse? It's a term that I never heard, and I'm not using the term derogatorily. I'm just using it in the context that she says that it was some entity that I had to fear. But I don't think she means, she certainly can't speak for anyone that's ever called into a panel everywhere, and certainly not everyone's going to agree, even to the people that call into that show. So I meant no offense to people that if they're like, well, Rob is besmirching everyone that's on a panel. Listen, I'm doing pretty good on my show right now. Truth be told, I don't even have to bullshit you. I could just show you. Let's see how many views I'm getting. 256, 1,000, 43, 14, 32. All right, that was a long time ago. Let's zoom ahead a year or so. 31, 28, 400, 25, 94, 25, 38. Let's zoom ahead some years. 57, 300, 140. Now we're on sort of year 2 or year 3 of me. 115. I debated Destiny. 600. Vosh video, 1.6 thousand. 159. 390. 206. 200. Man, I'm getting a little better. 73 views. 160. 107. 212. 44. 84. All right, how about the live streams? 80, 40, 40, 50, 90, 80. These are total views, not live stream. People watching the live stream. Total views. Years and years and years of 5 people watching me live. You still see. There's 2020. I got 90 people watched. Years later, 220, 75, 49, 586. That must have been a good show. Oh, I was talking to Sitch and Adam. 250, 116. That's 2 years ago. Last year, 2024, 300, 1.4, 666. That's bad. 600. 400. These are total views. A lot of the people on the Panelverse are doing better than that. So I'm by no means am I shitting on people. I'm not trying to big time anyone. The people that came up on the Panelverse, how do you think I got any sort of audience? Because I was doing random panels, mostly on Twitch when I was coming up. For years and years and years and years and years with no reach, no reach, no reach. I'd be lucky to have 10 people watching me live. So I'm not shitting on anyone. I feel like to an extent I paid my dues and I don't want to sit through a shit show of just random people screaming over me, but that's it. It's not that I disrespect the people that want to call in. I think in many ways there are more organic conversations that are happening with random people that are calling on them panels. And I hope to be able to announce soon that I'm going to be doing some projects where we're, myself personally, where I'm going to be looking for people that are organic that we could bring on to fill in debate slots. And maybe not a panel, but a one-on-one debate. Where are you going to find those people? Probably on those panels. That's where you find them. So it's not the type of situation where I'm trying to big time people or I'm trying to sabotage. Oh, fuck these panels. They're coming up. They're coming for my job. Let them. Great. There is not, I was talking to Jason earlier today. This is the God's honest truth. People can believe it or not. I want to get very stinking rich, but you want to know why? So I can hang out with my family. I don't need to be the guy in front of the camera. And when I say I want to get stinking rich, I'm bullshitting you. I really don't care about that. I want my family to be taken care of the rest of my life. That's it. I like my house. I like my $85,000 house that I'm going to be paying on for the next 10 years. That's fine by me. I like my shitty car that the alternators have. I don't like that, but I don't give a fuck. If I make money, fine. If I don't, fine. As long as I can provide for my family, I'm okay. I'm happy. I like it. Maybe someone comes along after me. Maybe someone like Spiro or Jason or Halouse. They start a channel and all of a sudden they're fucking killing it. That's amazing. That's absolutely great. I have no animosity whatsoever. Especially if they share my sort of worldview largely. That's great. Someone's more articulate than me, pushing the culture and the politics in a better direction than me. Absolutely amazing, fantastic, great. No hard feelings at all. I think that's great. By the way, it's also better for me because then I could say, hey, Halouse, bring me on your channel, right? So I'm not shitting on people that call into those panels. Quite to the contrary, I respect it. That's what I did for years and years and years and years and years. And I did that after I was a nationally ranked debater. As far as I know, the first ever state school to qualify for the national debate tournament. A huge achievement. Some of the smartest fucking people you can imagine. I got my ass kicked at the national debate tournament, but nonetheless, I qualified. And yet, I never let that be like, I'm big time, I'm too big for the panels, blah, 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 blah. It was never the case. If anything, I was frustrated that the panels were always ran by lefties, and so it was usually me versus 7 lefties, which I'm fine with, except the moderator would jump in, but that's another story. So I just want to make that clear to you, OTW, because I think there were some people that thought like, oh, Rob, I can't speak for Andrew other than he's my friend, and I'll just tell you, it's not that he's trying to sabotage people that are doing these panels, quite to the contrary. But I'm just speaking for myself when I say I hope they thrive. I hope Sarah's channel thrives. I don't care. The people that still watch me that participate in those panels, that's amazing. Go participate. I don't no hard feelings whatsoever. I just saw a situation that I didn't like and said fuck you, and things went from there. That's it. That's all my contribution to this was. Andrew saw his friend being trolled up on and was like, fuck you. I got my friends back, and that's it. It's literally that simple. The idea that there's some like huge conspiracy that fucking, oh my gosh, I saw OTW for your channel. Someone sent me a clip that was accusing me of being a Freemason. Holy fuck, I should show you around my house. I made less than $20 an hour my entire fucking life. Now I do have a Mason shirt, but that's just because there's a Mason lodge that was a sponsor of my kids' t-ball team, and I was assistant debate coach. I'm not a fucking Mason. I don't have any connections to anyone that wields any sort of power other than when I ran for politics, and I have some connections in the Republican Party. That's it. So I'm glad I saw you on here, OTW. I just wanted to clear the air because I know there's a lot of people in your audience that had those sort of questions. Now, they're not going to believe me, most of them, but that's it. That's what happened with the whole situation. I don't begrudge those people. I think that I would be more than happy to interact with those people. I'm still going to go on Speakeasy's show where he has just random people like Panelverse people that call in. Don't have a problem with it. I just had problems with one person. That's it. Well, more than one person. And the fuckhead trolls like Ryan and Dusty, but they're fleas on my ass. Those people are nothing. I don't give a fuck. I don't wish them ill either. I'm just, they could clip my show till the end of time and get a couple more views because, we're going to shit on Rob today. The day they met me was the most important day in their life. But to me, it was just Tuesday. So, Halouse, $15 says, I just had to get the bar to 50. It was driving me crazy. Well, we're well past it now. Thank you, Halouse. Another $5 says, for Space King, thank you. Baba Yaga, a member for 7 months. Thank you so much. Houston, $20. Thank you, man. Really appreciate it. Halouse, $5 says, I could put on Rob after he made Destiny rage quit in the January 6th debate. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Generally specific, $10 says, afternoon, Rob. I'm considering doing a debate topic exploration in the premise that the New Testament has been hijacked into a psyops by Revelations 2:9 types to keep the Gentiles docile. That sounds very interesting. I am the worst person to talk theology to. I am happily Christian and devoting myself to becoming a better Christian, but I'm such a bad reader of the Bible, and I'm trying to get better at that. But it sounds interesting. Mirnachuk, what's up, man? $10 says, we win when our ideas are mainstream. It doesn't matter if we get recognition because we win either way. That's exactly the point. And I know Jason agrees with me. We don't have to be the front and center of the movement. I believe in what I talk about. You might disagree with that, but I hope those ideas win in our society. That's what I want. And if someone else comes along and they're better at that than me, I'll be happy to be part of the team. If I could never stream again and I'm just a background member of the Crucible and I'm helping Andrew and the members of the Crucible, I'm happy with that. I'm perfectly fine with that. It doesn't have to be me. Spiro, what's up, my friend? $5 says, you heard it here first, Rob. Rob wants to ride my coattails. Yes, unbelievable. Should I let him into the fold, boys? Nah, thank you. Yes, Spiro, make billions of dollars and then hire me on as like a mascot or something. I can spin a sign for you or some shit. John Galt, $10 says, love the show. Thank you. Really appreciate it. And Santaman 2000 says, crazy how Sarah didn't take into account that 90% of her following came from the Crucible. Well, I don't think that Sarah understood that Andrew and me are sort of best friends. And I still think that it's one of the craziest fallouts from the whole situation is watching other people react. I mean this in a terrible way. Do people not know what it's like to have like a ride or die friend? That's what it feels like to me. Oh, Andrew did this for Rob. There must be some crazy thing going on in the background. No, he's my friend. Is there a business portion to it? Sure. Do you want to be in business with someone that you see stabbing your brand in the back? Probably not. But the most important thing is, I was Andrew's friend. That's it. And I think that there are people that are like trying to like, there must be some fucking hidden thing. There must be. Oh, Andrew must have hated Sarah for years. I mean, you have no idea if you're involved in the background how fucking stupid that sounds. Maybe someday things will come to light. I don't know. But my goodness, you have no idea how dumb it would be if you know what I do. To think that Andrew's been like trying to sabotage. No idea how stupid that is. It's like, no, it literally was just as simple as Andrew. Andrew told me straight up when I did the video, I didn't contact Andrew. Andrew was aware that I did the video. He reached out to me. I was like, don't you even worry about it, man. You got a ton of shit in your fucking. He said, come on. What happened? Talk to me. I was like, just don't worry about it. Because the dude's one of the busiest human beings you ever see. Debates and he's moving and he's got 5 fucking shows he's obligated to do and this, that, and the other. That's why I'm an employee. I'm an employee to prevent drama from coming to that dude so he could just do his job. I'm trying to take care of little details so Andrew could do what he does best. Not so fucking he has to get involved in some bullshit drama that I'm part of. That's the last thing I want to happen. And he told me straight up, I'm only saying this because he said it on his stream. Doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. You're my friend. Fuck it. End of story. Now I'm right, and he knows I'm right, but it wouldn't matter. I'm saying I feel the same about him. Later that next day, I did a call-in show. Ben Thorpe called in. Now, I was aware that Ben Thorpe or someone in his family had potentially said some shit about about a deceased member of Andrew's family. Fuck you, gone. Ben says, let me explain myself. No explanation, goodbye. Maybe Ben's right. I don't know or care. Fuck you. Done. End of story. But Rob, maybe if you work with Ben, you could get a bunch of views and clicks. Don't give a fuck. Goodbye. Non-starter. Fuck you. I don't care if he sends me a 50-page fucking paper with video receipts showing actually Andrew started it all and I was just defending myself. That could theoretically all be true. I don't give a shit. I will not deal with someone that makes those sort of attacks. Now, if your attacks, fuck Andrew, he's wrong in this debate, or he's a piece of shit for what he believes about this topic or that, totally open to that. Go, speak away. No problem. Doesn't bother me in the least bit. But I'm not going to listen to people attack his family. Fuck you. Non-starter. It doesn't matter. But Andrew said X, Y, and Z about my family first. Maybe, fuck you, I don't care. Next. And I've had people, years ago, I had people fucking reach out to me in my Discord. Same bullshit. Oh, did you see this video Tree of Logic did? Did you see what a grifter Andrew is? Go fuck yourself. Goodbye. Rob, you're willingly blind. Yep. Goodbye. That's it. I don't give a shit. But Rob, what if fucking, being connected to Andrew, what if some scandal comes out and it sabotages your channel? Oh, well, I guess I'll go back to home health care. That's my friend. Fuck you. I don't care. But Rob, objectively, if you look at the evidence, you can see Andrew's wrong. I don't care. I just don't give a fuck. That's it. And I have other, there's only a handful. That means more to me than money ever would. Unless I'm like starving on the street or something, then it's a little different. But I'm not starving, so. All right, calls. Sorry, we fucked around a lot today. We only have an hour and a half for the calls because I fucked around. But that's okay. Keep getting those super chats in so we can shame this Austin Hall some bitch. Look at this guy. You're unreasonable. our good friend calling in for, quick reminder, you want to call in to troll me, yell at me, whatever, perfectly fine. If it's annoying or whatever, we'll send you on your way. But here's what I ask from all my calls. You can talk about any topic you want. You will follow terms of service. That means you will not be making homophobic slurs. You will not be making racial slurs. That means you will not be making any calls to violence. The calls to violence are against terms of service. More importantly, all political calls to violence at this point are immoral and they are unstrategic. I'm not just saying that because it's against terms of service. That is my true belief. But you respect the rules of the channel. It doesn't matter if I'm streaming on Twitch, I'm streaming on YouTube and various other platforms. Rumble's more lenient, obviously, but it does not matter what you personally think about the TOS. What matters is we are on these platforms and we will abide by the rules. So please, if you can't control yourself or you need to talk about a topic that's outside the scope of that, then please don't call in. Other than that, if you want to call me a fat pig and I'm a piece of shit and I'm a coward, totally cool. No problem. If it's too much, we'll just send you on your way, like I said. But all right, first up, our good friend Evan. How you doing, man? I'm so sorry I didn't get to you yesterday. I saw you popped in right at the end.
Oh, it's all right. My Wi-Fi around here is having some issues, but I'm doing pretty good.
Good. Glad to hear it, man. So what's on your mind?
Well, I like to listen to interviews and debates while I do stuff in the background. So I saw something by a person by the name of Daniel Hakikachu. Sorry, he's a Persian. Mm-hmm. And he has a very interesting philosophy, and he's like a anti-enlightenment sort of Muslim fundamentalist, which may sound a bit weird, but he has good basis. And when you hear him talk, it sounds like he's being completely honest, not like deceiving, willing to bite all the bullets in relation to it. But he had an interesting perspective that I haven't heard before, but it kind of makes sense in a strange way. He says that there's a lot of nations around the world, and they should all have their own people. But at the same time, the current system needs to be readjusted because as things currently stand, like a lot of nations with high IQ, like say the Western nations or Japan or China, they due to like naturally high IQ, that tends to go towards atheism, and it leads to the creation of technologies, not all of which are beneficial and could lead to greater harm around the world. And generally speaking, and it would kind of create a system where all the nations that do not have like that genetic basis or do not have the current resources would end up being subservient to it, which I can immediately recognize as true. And so just hearing all this, part of me is a little conflicted about the thought of people that are super high IQ are a serious issue to global stability.
So first off, let's say it's certainly an interesting idea, and like the most easy way to look at this, but I think dumb way, is global warming, right? So let's say hypothetically you said this, well, the first world nations are putting all this CO2 in the atmosphere, so you're some sub-Saharan country, and yes, we might be able to stand back and objectively say, you people tend to have cultures that are less intelligent or that are more primitive, and you engage in practices that we find abhorrent, but at the same time, you have no say in the changes we're making to the world as a whole that will affect you. You have no say in that. You have no agency over that. Your life will precipitously get worse because of what we, with this advanced technology, are doing that will damage the earth. Now, I think the global warming thing's way blown out of proportion, and it's bullshit. But the theme is still the same, that you have these first world countries, theoretically, of people, whether it be genetically more intelligent or genetically more predisposed to being more industrious, even if it's not an intelligence thing, or it's their culture has led them in a different path, even if you don't want to take it to a genetic way, whatever, it's undoubtable. If you look at the culture of a place like Japan, the United States, China, a lot of these European countries versus the culture of places like some of these South American countries, African countries, there's a vastly different culture. I'm not really interested in talking about why for the purposes of this. So what do we say? If we look at the one culture and say, yes, the industriousness, the intelligence, the creations that largely are responsible for convenience and good in the world. You know, one of the statistics that I used to talk about all the time was, you know, with the advent of free market and capitalism, like, did you know that the infant mortality rate now in sub-Saharan Africa is the same as it was in Britain in 1979. That is an incredible achievement. When we talk about, you know, childbirth in the poorest of the poor countries, it's gotten so much better that it's where one of the top countries in 79 was. That's an amazing achievement, largely because of free markets, capitalism, and the advance of sort of technologies, etc., that we've been able to produce. But what happens when you get to a point where you are more focused on these, so let's just put it this way, whether it be through intelligence, IQ, culture, whatever, you tend to get more focused on worldly things and you no longer need God. Right? We don't need God, right? Because we have science, or we have this, or we have that, and so we don't need God. Well, what happens? Well, you lose sight of, like, fundamentally what it means to be human, or what it means to be a good person, and your objective changes. It's one of the questions I have. I'm not a person that talks philosophy a lot or theology a lot, but to the secular humanist, one of the questions I have is, like, why humanist? Why stop there, right? What makes humans the end all be all? If you don't believe in God, right? If there's not some biblical, you know, reason that we are the children of God and that we should seek God through Christ, if it's not that, what is it about humans that makes us top of the list? Is it because we have a higher intelligent quotient? Is that it? Is it because we're the most industrious? Because we can contain our emotions unlike other organisms, like, you know, wildlife? Well, then what happens when computers do that? What happens when robots outpace humans on that? Why wouldn't the secular humanist say that's the pinnacle? Right? And you all of a sudden you get into the transhumanism movement. Why not connect ourselves to machine? Right? And it leads to a very dark place. It's like, well, why do you really give a shit? Why Earth? Why do we give a shit about the planet of Earth when you really think about it? If we could exploit and destroy this planet in the name of becoming transhumanist and colonizing other worlds, why not do it? What's the limiting principle? And then all of a sudden you start to realize, like, what doesn't really matter what me and you think if the people in charge think that way, right? Because the decisions they make that we have no control over are going to affect me and you. If they make a machine, like, let's get a little conspiracy oriented, right? The Hadron Collider. Let's say hypothetically that puts a timer on Earth that we're screwed in 3 years, right? It doesn't matter if me and you are like, well, that sucks. We wouldn't do that. We can't stop that if that's what they do. We're affected by it. What do? It's a really interesting thing. And then you really have to ask yourself, well, who was smarter? Right? Like, they thought they were smarter. And maybe even with an IQ or some metric like that, they are. Maybe they could create these better machines. Maybe they have more intelligence in specific industries that allow them to make changes that affect the broader world. But is that real intelligence, or is real intelligence wisdom? Is real intelligence realizing, like, yeah, even now, I have all these devices around me, right? But what's most important? My family, human connections, going out, you know, it's so cliche, but touch grass, right? When you lose sight of that, right? And you have this, you know, oh, we got these greater human goals. Are you really more intelligent? I don't know. I don't know the answers to these things. It's a difficult question. And certainly there's a place. I mean, who could deny, you know, maybe someday through no fault of our own, an asteroid comes. Boy, will we be thanking the people that, you know, were engineers and were concerned about the sort of shit that could get us off the planet at that point, right? Then we'll say, the forethinking has benefited us all. But what happens if not? What if their thinking leads to the end of us all? Then what? So I understand that. And I can understand that from the perspective of a Muslim as well, that it's an interesting question. You're in one of these Muslim countries and it's like, yeah, you know, everybody says our intelligence is higher than you, your culture, this, that, and the other. And it's like, yeah, but look at what your culture breeds. You know, I might be a Christian, but is my country operating under a Christian ethical system, or is it operating under a more secular system? And to the extent that my country affects his country, then why wouldn't he say, look what your secularism's doing with all of your intelligence, with all of your money, with all of your wealth, with all of your technology? And what are you doing from our perspective? Fucking our shit up. That's what you're doing. Now, I don't think it's that simple. We're also providing a lot of food and shit that people would be starving and other things like that. But it's an interesting philosophical point, you know?
And I will say, look at it on the sort of level. People with below average IQs, the only things that are problematic is that they have lower impulse control and they learn slower. That's pretty much it when it comes to some things. But when you get to the higher end of IQ, it tends to go and leads to people that are more mentally unwell. They can't really cope with society. They have to feel like everything has to be perfect. They know so much that they end up being bored and disinterested and become slaves to their sort of interests and passions because they don't have any discipline. Whereas someone who has to work for it kind of gets there. And I would say in that sort of sense, and it also leads to more amoral sort of thinking. That's just kind of like my sort of view on it. And if I look at like what is needed in society, someone who can go and I think there's like a reason, like if you look at sub-Saharan Africa in some regions, the need of the wheel was not necessary because they had enough people that they could carry the things. The land was very uneven. So it's not like they could roll things that easily. So in a sense, like a basic funding, a basic ground for like advancing civilization in some people's eyes. It depends on the person. To me, it's like, I don't know what makes society work. Because
no, it's absolutely, there are things you could look at. Listen, there is a lot of, I don't know how to put this. There are a lot of possible explanations for why we see such a divergence in cultures. I am not a cultural relativist. I think my culture is far better and far superior than a lot of these countries, particularly ones that you would see in Africa or other countries. I'll defend that. I don't care. I'll say it unabashedly, right? But as far as to the explanation why, I'm willing to listen to people talk about it. But the point remains that you were making, that this gentleman that you're saying appears to be making, you know, sometimes through your hubris, like you lose sight of like what's important, and that can negatively affect, even if you're objectively more intelligent, other people. So Evan, I appreciate it, man. I got a bunch of other callers, but it's always a pleasure, man. Thank you so much for calling in. Really appreciate it, man. We'll talk soon. Evan challenged me already, man. Like, kind of crazy. Like some redneck like me trying to drop some transhumanist philosophy and stuff. All right, next up, we got our man, Fallen Heathen. I'm guessing you're not going to get me into transhumanism. We'll see. We'll see.
No, I won't get into that. The one thing I will say, though, he had mentioned smarter people not being really religious. It's been my experience, and say what you want about engineers. I have my own opinion about engineers. But all the engineers I've ever dealt with have been extremely religious, which I found really really weird. I was like, you seem way too smart to be religious. And they're like, it's the exact opposite, you know, because they are engineers, they design. And they're like, oh, this isn't an accident. It was all by design.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Yep.
Yeah, it was really interesting. So last night on your show, talking to that BX chick, which she's pretty rad, you know, competition shooter and stuff. Yep. But you guys got on the topic about homeless and like mentally ill and stuff like that. And you were just talking about, you know, a lot of people don't have loyal friends and stuff. And a good friend of mine now that moved to Texas, his mom is going through she's had a lot of mental illness issues and stuff. And she kind of was out of the picture for a while and recently just popped back up and came and knocked on the door, and she didn't even know he had kids. And it was really ugly. I don't want to give too much of his personal life out. And I haven't heard from him for a couple of days, and he's been real vague when I text him, like, you know, a couple word responses. And I'm like, hey man, what's up? And he's like, my mom got out of jail. She's living under the bridge down the road from me. And it just speaks to a lot of this. It speaks to the homeless thing. It speaks to the mental illness thing. And it just sucks, dude.
So when I bought this house, so me and my wife got married, we bought this house $6,000. So I'll go. I was talking about it recently in the form of like the crazy James O'Keefe minority owned thing, but this is a different part of that story. I got this house. I didn't have any money. A mutual friend of mine was an older gentleman. He used to date the woman who owned this house. And he was like, she passed away. He would give me $6,000 front it, and then I would pay him back to purchase this house. Real fixer-upper, like floor, subfloor rotted out, no bathroom in it, et cetera, right? Okay, so I ended up getting a house. The reason that the house was so cheap in addition to all that was, long story short, this elderly woman lived there. Her father had lived there their whole life, and he passed away like maybe in the early 2000s, I think. He had 4 daughters. They each got a quarter of the house. One of them moved in. The other 3 still owned 75% of the house, but one of them lived there. And the arrangement would be, obviously, if that person passes away, then the ownership of the house would transfer to the rest of the sisters as long as they were alive. This woman had a drug addict daughter who was in and out of prison and was homeless, and she moved in with her. So now you have this elderly woman that my old man friend was sort of dating once in a while, but she has this like 40, 50-year-old daughter who just shows up one day. I'm living here now. Okay. She's a drug addict. She's stealing shit from all the neighbors. She's violent. When the lady passes away, the other sisters, 2 of the other sisters are still alive. So the house goes to them. Not so, says the drug addict daughter. This is my house. And you ain't taking me out. And I'll fucking take you out if you try to remove me from this house. So the deal was, we'll sell you this house for $6,000 if you could get this woman to leave. So I talked to this drug addict lady quite a bit. And, I was like, look, here's the deal. The taxes aren't paid in this place. They're going to foreclose the house. And you're going to be out in your ass. So you're either going to be out in the ass because the sheriff throws you out, or I could give you time. I could help you move. We could try to get you set up in an apartment. And it was tough, but it worked. We got her out eventually. It was a long time. It was crazy. She was irrational. She was a drug addict. We changed the locks. First thing we do in the house. Within 30 days, she was dead. Overdose. And it was fucking brutal because that was my first time. I had dealt with friends that were addicts, but that was my first time seeing like the violence, the theft, and it was a level of addiction that I could not believe. And because you would get moments of talking to this woman, you could see this is a woman in there there is rationality there. If you could get her in moments where she was sober. But my goodness, when it was like, when the addiction was there, it was incredible. And I'll never forget, like, what a weird feeling. When we got into the house, we started to find pill containers of all of the neighbors that she had broke into their house and stole these pills. And so all the neighbors were thrilled that she was out of there. But what a weird feeling, because you're like, this woman's going to break into our house at some point, and then she's dead. And so you feel guilty because at some point you're like, that's terrible. A human being lost their life. But I'd be lying if I didn't tell you part of me was like, well, good. While I'm at work, I don't have to worry about this psycho breaking into the house while my wife's there. So it's a weird feeling,
So that was a text message I got. So the house that he's in used to be his mom's house, or it's actually his grandma's, but his mother lived there. And then the grandma lives right next door. And like I said, she popped up out of nowhere, still acting like it was her place, and came inside. He almost shot his mom. She came in, and he said all he saw was a silhouette down in the downstairs and couldn't make her out. And finally, realized it was her. But so that's his concern. He works an hour from here, and I'm 10 minutes from his house, if that, 5 minutes from his house. So I told him, I was like, you need me to go home over to your house. She pops up out of nowhere, because that's what's happening. And she's just popping up out of nowhere, and his wife's home with the kids, and she's terrified.
It's crazy.
But, you were talking earlier too about just kind of assuming everyone has like the same principles and values and morals and stuff. When I was using, I did a lot of business with the homeless people, and I naively thought that everyone that was out there were guys like me who had these principles and these values and stuff growing up. They just got hooked on drugs, and now they're out on the street. And it was a huge, kick in reality, realizing that these people don't give a shit about anything except for, burning They don't care about burning bridges and none of that stuff.
Well, hey, Fallen Heathen, I'm so sorry. There's a lot of people on the line, and I talked too much earlier today. So I'm going to try to
man.
Hopefully we talk soon. This is the last call-in show of the week, but I'm sure I'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, take it easy. Is this the real Austin Hall? Oh my goodness. This guy has the nerve to be here when 2 days ago. Holy cow. It's him. Unbelievable. Can you believe this guy? 2 days ago was here saying that $357 a day is highly unreasonable. Well, chat, you know what to do. What? The receipt, it clearly says 2 days ago. Clearly. I don't know what to say. The receipts are there 2 days ago. You know what to do. Get those donos in. We're going to surpass 357 in Austin Hall. We'll be here to see it. So keep those donos coming. We're going to shatter the goal. 357 is reasonable. I can't believe he's here. I feel like there's a celebrity in our midst. It's amazing. All right, next up we got Halouse. What's up, Halouse?
What's up, Rob? Can you hear me well?
I hear you just fine, man. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. You know, I'm going to offer something that I think the chat will like. Every time that you have your hat tilted right here where your eyes are not visible, I call that Rob mode. And like that's like in my head, like when I see you like really focusing in and going hard on a debate, I'm like, oh shit, he's in Rob mode.
That's me thinking usually. Yeah, if you hear me, it's like this, right? I'm thinking people tend to look. I know a little about this. Like people that try to find out if someone's lying, your eyes sometimes will tell. If when you look up, you're thinking, right? Now, when I put my head down, my eyes intuitively are going up. And so, like, that's me. Most of the time I'm thinking, if I'm not typing, but you'll hear me if I'm typing because I have fat fingers and my keyboard's loud. So, yeah, most of the time. That's funny, though. I'm glad you noticed that.
Yeah. I'm going Rob mode right now, okay?
There you go. Nice.
All right. So we have a lot on our plate. We could, go about the chess route. There's something that I saw on Tim Pool's show recently. There was a liberal person who shot up a conservative's house because he had Trump stuff on his house. He ripped the Trump flag off, got out of his truck, and proceeded to shoot the guy's property. Thankfully, nobody was killed in this incident. If you call it an incident, it's really terrorism. This guy was 106 miles away from his own house, and they booked him. He got arrested, and everything is shown on camera. This guy just stops. He brakes, gets out of his car, rips the flag off, and then proceeds to shoot the house with the whole clip. Didn't leave a single bullet in the clip, and yeah, he got arrested. Apparently, he had little man syndrome too, because in his mugshot, he's like 5'5" or something like that. But yeah, another instance of the tolerant left, Rob.
They're everywhere. They're everywhere. I mean, you could look at that. How many people celebrated the murder of Charlie Kirk? The truth is, I mean, again, I've been talking about this obviously for years and years and years, going back to like 2018 when I started streaming, but look at the Luigi Mangione thing. Now, everyone, like a lot of us, right, left, whatever, you know what's universal? People don't like greedy assholes that are taking advantage of people that are struggling. People don't like that on the right or the left. Now, there's no evidence that this United Healthcare CEO was doing that. All that we knew is people were frustrated with healthcare. This guy works for a company, so he must be a bad, evil man, right? The celebrations that were like, it wasn't just that you had a few weirdos that were celebrating. It was that Bill Burr goes on Jimmy Kimmel's like, yeah, fuck it, yeah, free Luigi, more of him. And people are like, yeah. And it's a joke, and a joke's fine, but it's more than a joke. There are people that meant that shit. And like, I remember being like, pause. Think what this means. Who do you think they think's more evil? United Healthcare CEO or Trump and Trump supporters? And if they could justify and celebrate this, well, that's it. That's the game, right? If they did this guy because they're like, well, he's a pharmaceutical guy, and then you look at Trump and you're like, well, he's a fascist. That's worse. And these guys are fascist supporters. And it's like they're at a rally for that Austrian painter guy, right? So what would we do to them? And it's like, I don't know what to say. It's not an isolated problem. This is not 2 or 3% of Democrats that believe this. This is either more than half or a substantial portion, even if it's not quite half. And I don't know what to do. Like, I know I've given advice, like, separate yourself from these people best as possible. But it's like, at some point, I don't know what to say. And again, I talk about it a lot, and I have to tip my cap to Destiny for putting into words what I think so many people on the left think, which is, we want you people, Republicans, conservatives, we want you to fear for your lives. That's what we want. We're not going to pull the trigger, and we're not even saying we want someone to pull the trigger, but we want you to think that someone might pull the trigger. And we're happy with that. That's good, because that might make you change your mind. I saw a video today of a person that was saying, listen, if we're going to go to police officers' homes, and they don't wear body armor at home, this woman said. And you're like, she means that. This isn't flippant. This isn't like fucking dudes sitting around in a DM being like, oh yeah, man, I'm playing you in fantasy football this week. I'm going to line your ass up against the wall like Saddam did to his generals, right? It ain't that. This is fucking serious. And again, I don't think that everyone that says this is personally saying, I'm going to go out and I'm going to do this violence. But I think that most of the people that say this are like, yeah, we're happy that there was someone that did some level of violence somewhere so that these Republicans must think about, or like Maxine Waters said, chase them out of public spaces. That's what they want. They want you to not be physically comfortable, and that there may be there's some possibility of violence out there. That's what they want.
Yeah, I kind of prescribed this ever since the Charlie Kirk assassination. I think all of the empathetic lefties that they are now, they're gone. Like all the people, like that was the wake up moment when Charlie Kirk got assassinated. That was the opportunity to kind of quote unquote come to Jesus, and everybody else who celebrated that assassination, they're far gone. Like there's no saving them. Like they're too far gone, and like I feel like that's the line. Like ever since that day, that's been the line that's drawn, and everybody who is firm in their beliefs are really firm in their beliefs. They're stuck in the ground where they stand, and there's no changing their mind. Like I see this with the people that you debate, like with Dusty, with that coder guy, all these guys. I don't think that you, despite how well spoken you are ever going to change any of these guys' minds. This is just I kind of feel like it might be a senseless battle, like
Coder falls in like Dusty's like, I don't think Dusty has a lot of substance. I think Dusty's sort of memeing his way through shit. So, but yeah, I think Coder's probably 95% unreachable. And most of the people I debate from the left perspective are that way. There's this guy, I'll let you go if you don't mind, and I'll answer this. Halouse, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. I'm excited. I got this show coming up. It's going to be bi-weekly with this attorney named Ryan Mullally. Now, Ryan's right-leaning, but he is more centrist than me. He's an attorney, and we've certainly had massive disagreements. And part of the reason that we talked about doing this show is we can have robust disagreements. Jason Mirnachuk's on the line here. I'm going to be doing a show with him. Most of the people on that show are going to tend to lean right-leaning, and yet we'll be able to have robust disagreements, right? It's getting harder for some of these people on the left. And people are like, Rob, you're full of shit. You're being hyperbolic. I mean, this picture will forever be ingrained in my mind. See if I can find it real quick. That's the Oxford Debate Union, Debate Club, one of the most prestigious debate platforms in the world. And there's Charlie Kirk debating George Aberone, who would then later become elected as the president of that club. And there they sit having a civil debate. Presumably they exchanged pleasantries beforehand, probably talked a little afterwards. Civil debate, if not disagreement. And look what George there said the moment he found out that Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Of course, he then would proceed to double down and say even more heinous shit. How do you debate that? I have never once sat across from someone in a real life debate or in an online debate and thinking to myself, if they were murdered tomorrow, I would celebrate. Never once. It's weird. It really is. Now, having said all that, we're close to our goal today at 357. Don't worry, we got a bunch of more callers to get to. I'm going to get to them. We're going to go rapid fire, 5 minutes apiece. We got to do it. But before we get there, remember, Austin Hall thinks $357 a day is highly unreasonable. Not 2 days ago he said that, as you can see from the message there. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. We did it. We got him. We got him. Now let's not fail today while he's in the chat and fail to get to our goal of 357. So get those super chats in. Mr. Disappointed, $10 says, I've been watching Andrew for a long time. Seems suspicious that you were not recommended in my feed by YouTube. I've been catching up on your videos. Here's $10 for the war chest. Thank you so much. Yeah, I don't know. I'm naive. I know that YouTube isn't favorable to me on the algorithm, but I keep plugging away. Right now, things are going good, so I'm thankful for it. Jason Egard, $10 says, for the alternator fund. I will need it. I don't know how much I'm looking at, but thank you. Verna Desert, $5 says, don't forget to hit the like. Thank you. Our good friend Zach Gelpy, $10 says, the infamous Austin Hall actually exists and shows up. He's here, baby. Halouse, thanks for calling in, man. $5 says, hope everyone enjoyed my appearance. I'm trying to get better at talking smoother. I thought you did great. And Vincent DeVici, $5 says, I uploaded all my info into Kirk Security on your Discord. Did you see? I did see. I haven't gone through it, but I saw that you uploaded it. Thank you. Ivan Oliveras, again, man, $50. Thank you so much, says W. Rob. I really appreciate it, man. Really. Thank you. Almost to our goal. That's okay. We can shatter right through the goal, too. Oh, my gosh. And Heiser Kaiser. Did I get that right? Thank you for becoming a member. All right, to the rest of my callers, we got like 5 minutes apiece because we got a lot. Our good friend Ashton, what's happening, man?
Howdy goes, guys. How's it going, Rob?
Not bad, not bad.
Hey, with all this drama and stuff coming along and all this nonsense happening, I just got to ask you one simple question.
Sure.
Just a very simple one. How does it feel?
The support I got's immense. Like knowing that someone, like I have a friend like Andrew, that's the most important thing. The support I've got from people, is, the increased growth of the channel and everything is amazing. It really is. But I don't like drama, and I don't feel good. I don't feel good about the idea of like it's zero sum. I get bigger at someone else's expense. That was never my intent. I don't feel terrible. I don't feel guilty because I just did what I think was right. But at the same time, it's not something I relish in that sense. But I'm trying to focus more on, I can't believe the unbelievable support that I have from people like Andrew and people in this community. So overwhelmingly positive, but I would be lying if I didn't say that there's not part of me that's like, I would have rather that my channel continue to grow and all other channels that I've associated with grow as well. That's how I honestly feel.
For sure. I can respect that. As humble as you are, you've always been the kind and the humble person that I've actually watched and grown to respect and enjoy. How do you feel about this whole No Kings protest stuff? I don't know if you've seen any of the ongoing stuff. I don't know if there's anything going on in your town. We had here in my hometown multiple protests and multiple things happening, so it's been kind of a hectic.
I would be lying if there was a BLM protest in my little town here back in 2020, but no Kings, and there is a college there, so it's like, maybe you'll see a small one. I joke though, forget about the college. Other than that, if we had a No Kings protest here, it wouldn't be against Donald Trump. It would be like against the game warden, for cracking down on you for fishing, catching too many fish. That's the tyrants that the people in my area of the world like, or, the liquor control board or something like, you motherfuckers. That's to us, that's the tyrant,
My grandfather, whenever he was alive, had run-ins with the game wardens all the time here down in my hometown, so I can understand that completely. As fellow Pennsylvanians, we understand.
Right.
Nobody likes the game wardens.
Yeah. So, but in general, I'll just give it. I talked about it a lot. I'll just say this: like, I feel like that they keep going back to the same well, and it's like the old Spinal Tap reference. You can only crank it up to 11 so many times, right? Like when you start in 2016 to like, our opponents are fascists, they're these horrible people. Take it to the streets. Take it to the streets. Take it to the streets. It loses its power, right? Like, I gave the example of this. I had a friend that I'd never heard curse one time, never. I say fuck, shit, damn all the time. This guy never heard swear. And he's telling me about this run-in he had with someone, and he's like, Rob, and I looked at him and I was like, fuck you. And I was like, that has to be the most impactful fuck you that's ever existed, right? This guy's never uttered that word. So when he uses it, well, the problem is when you say it all the time, it loses meaning. So the No Kings, I think that, the Democrats and the, sort of the establishment was like, we'll go back to this playbook. And for me, people are willing, I don't give a shit what people are claiming, how many numbers there were, this, that, and the other. I feel like optically, it doesn't feel the same. It doesn't feel like Black Lives Matter. It feels like people are sort of over it. And they're like, we get it. You guys had a bunch of fucking people, particularly old white people, that took to the street for another day, that didn't know what the fuck they're protesting, and just screamed at the air, and no one gives a shit. Life moves on. And so I don't think it had the power that they thought it would. Now, there's questions about the funding and all of that shit, but in general, that's my thought.
Well, the reason I asked is because, like, on social media now, granted, I don't get on Facebook hardly ever anymore like I used to. It's not really something I'm not a really big social media person other than, like, YouTube and this kind of stuff with the panels. But I've lost, God, I don't know how many friends just by the Charlie Kirk thing, and then the second wave of the No Kings protest stuff here in my local town. Like, people that I've been best friends with for many, many years, that we've shared bonds, we've shared tears, we've shared, everything. And I've lost them just due to this. And it's like, I've looked at them, and even my boss said it the other day, and she's kind of like your best friend there who doesn't swear. I've heard her swear in the 7 years that I've worked there. I've heard her swear 2 times, and the worst one was shit. And when the Charlie Kirk shooting happened, I heard her say, fuck them people. And it just like you said, you don't hear it from them. So it's like, it means something. And when she said it, man, I stepped back for a second and started laughing. She goes, what's so funny? You're not going to be a supporter of that happening, are you? I said, you know me for how many years now, lady? You know damn well where I line up on the spectrum. The reason I'm laughing is because if somebody like you, who is not a swearer, who is not a political motivated person, comes out of the woodwork and says, you know what, this is bullshit, this needs to stop, then it means something to people like me who are involved in this on a daily basis.
Right. Yeah. No, I don't disagree.
It's a scary thing. I know you have other colors and stuff, man. I just want to say, I hope one day that I can catch you for a live and have you on my channel to do an interview with you.
Love to.
I'll hit you up on
man.
Discord, or I'll hit you up on X or something.
Anytime, man. Yep, absolutely. Take care, man. All right. Thanks so much, AJ Noakes. Great to hear from you. $5 as a king, a president, and a woman walk into a bar, and no liberal can tell you who is who. Good morning and have a blessed day. Funny. All right, we're close to our goal, 96%. Let's bring on our next caller, the great Jason Mirnachuk. How you doing today, Jason?
Multiple NDAs broken all at once on one show, Rob. I mean,
we've done
seriously, I have to get legal involved.
Yes. I'm going to get sued into oblivion. Send in donos so that Jason gets them all for me violating the fact that we're going to be doing a show coming up here.
Rob's going to need one because I'm sending legal his way. Like, what the hell, man? We had one conversation, all of a sudden it's like all over the place.
I know an attorney who will put you on notice, so just be careful. I'm just saying.
Hey, you know what? 20K plus one has to happen.
You think that is your idea? Yeah.
It's going to happen. Look, man, whether you do it or I do it for you, it's going to happen. So
that's funny. That's good.
I'll just stream your show and go 20 plus 1, 20K plus 1.
Yeah,
Fuck Sarah.
we did it. Yeah.
So okay, we're doing this fast. So I think I have a way to combine Sarah, prisons, and chess all together.
Holy shit!
One thing I would say to people is go check out Thomas Carlyle, who's a very interesting character. He wrote. He's a 19th century Scottish polygamist. Amongst other things, his books on heroes is fantastic. He wrote this series called the Latter-day Pamphlets, and number 2 is Model Prisons. This is from March 1st, 1850. I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's a bit of a mouthful, but this is going on. So the modernization of prisons have been going on back then. He's bemoaning this, right? He's bemoaning this sort of like progressive urge to reform not just prisons but prisoners themselves. What the connection between Sarah, prisoners, and the chess story you brought up with is, and I think centerpiece to where we are in Western civilization, is that we've lost the ability for repentance and redemption. You need repentance, and for redemption you need repentance. Darth Vader goes through a redemption arc, right? But to accomplish that, he needs to repent. When he throws the emperor off the down the chute, that's repentance. Repentance in the Orthodox tradition, in the actual word, means a 180 turn. You change. It changes you, and that change has to be respected and has to be honored. Without the repentance to redemption arc, you can't have forgiveness. I can forgive you, but you cannot be forgiven.
Sure.
The biggest problem we have in modernity is that we've taken out God. As Nietzsche said, we kill God. The blood, we will never wash the blood from our hands. We replace it with sort of Ubermensch, ideal man, which is never well defined. Like liberal man is always changing, and because of that, we cannot repent because we need that higher authority to repent to. We need that sort of ability to turn around.
It's it's interesting. We were talking about, so there was a guy that called in, Alexander, if you're still watching me in the shadows, we had a big argument about the idea of forgiveness, right? And like the Christian step to forgiveness in reference to Charlie Kirk's murderer and his wife. Charlie Kirk's wife was like, I forgive you. And the question is, what does forgiveness look like? Forgiveness for me in the sense of, if this person truly repents and seeks Christ, I would forgive him in the sense that I want him to enter the kingdom of heaven because he's truly changed who he is, right? That's one thing. But I don't know that I could offer forgiveness. We were talking about like the people celebrating the deaths. Maybe this person thinks I was misrepresenting him. He said he would welcome like a family member that said, yes, I'm glad Charlie Kirk's dead, like a cousin or a friend. He would welcome them into his home with his children. And I said, I couldn't do that. To me, that's not a matter of forgiveness. That's a matter of like practicality. I do not forgive your language. You want me dead, and people like me dead, so I don't want you around my family. For me, I think what you hit at here is the idea of what does it mean to truly be repentant. I could say to you, I'm sorry, but if I continue to do the same things, was I truly repentant? No, right? I uttered the words that one would utter as part of being repentant, but those words are cheap. The actions are what's more important.
You have a bunch of Canadians in your chat right now, in your private chat, which is very funny. It's like a bunch of Quebecers. Hey, moi sti à tabarnak. Shout out to the boys in the chat. The classic Canadian thing is to go, oh, sorry, eh? Sorry, as they're butting their head and putting their elbows in your face. Oh, sorry. Oh, I just need to get that. I need to get to Timmy's, man. I'm a little bit late, eh? I need my double. So that's the classic one where it's like you're not sorry because you're still doing it. Now I can personally forgive you in terms of saying I'm not going to carry the water for you. I'm not going to be hateful towards you because it's going to be damaging me. But I can't offer you redemption because you're still doing the same dumb shit. So you need to actually change your behavior in a fundamental way, and then maybe the community, myself and other people, can offer you redemption.
I think it's well said. I think that's absolutely. I'm so sorry. I do have to get moving on because I'm going to get yelled at by everyone else in chat. But no, we are planning on doing a show. We're going to come up with I don't know what name you're going with the show. Do you know?
Friend or Fed, man.
You're going with it? Yeah, Friend or Fed. Jason's bringing it back. I'm going to be happy to be hopefully a regular guest. I think it's going to be a great show. I think the idea that you have for it's phenomenal. So I'm honored that you thought to sort of welcome me into that. So I can't wait to start that. We're thinking maybe end of November, but we'll have more details for everyone. So, but I am putting your channel in the chat, so everyone go check them out. Subs are free. Give them a sub. I think you'll love it.
I'm 140 away or whatever, something like that, from 4,000. It's not 20K plus one, but $4,000 after this year of struggle would make me happy.
There you go.
So
let's get him. Let's get him to 4,000. I'm not subbed.
God.
I'm going right now. Bam. There you got one. So thanks so much, Jason. We'll talk soon, man.
Thank you, man.
Great dude. I can't wait to work with him there on that show. It's his show. We were just talking about the idea for the show, and I'll be happy to be a regular guest on it. So, all right, next up, I remind everyone, $100 to kick any caller. I have to throw that out there anytime I bring this gentleman on. Our good friend, Level 4 Lobster, hater of Texas and Buc-ee's. How are you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing good, Rob. Am I coming across clear?
Yes, yes.
All right. Hey, I want to shotgun a few things. First of all, this is a difficult conversation, especially when it comes to suicide. And your chess YouTuber or chess guy that, I mean, it's an unfortunate situation. It's horrible. It's feel horrible for his family. But like when it comes to blame, like in no way would I blame anyone but the individual, especially if it turns out he decided to take his own life. I mean, because in the long run, everyone faces adversity in their life. Everyone has challenging times, and sometimes, yes, they seem unsurmountable and they're difficult. And the weak tend to go out this way because they don't think there's a solution, and it sucks.
We've all been in a situation. Every one of us, like, let us not cast down. Every one of us have said something that could ruin someone's day, or done something that could ruin someone's day. It might be as simple as your neighbor didn't mow their grass, and you're like, "Hey, man, what the fuck? Are you ever gonna mow your yard? It looks like shit." If that person ends their life that day, are you responsible? Do you want that weight? And like, it's like. All of us have done something like this, and if we're going to be so quick to judge that it's like, well, anyone who said a foul word to someone that ends their life has some sort of culpability, I think that things could be true simultaneously, that someone in my story about the chess, like Kramnik, is irresponsible, but at the same time, to put a death on him would seem to be a lot. And
well, it's understandable, too, because people, when they lose someone they love, they are looking for the reason why.
Yeah.
They want to explain to them because it doesn't make sense how someone they thought was put together, was successful, was on his way up, would do something like this. And they look for the easy answer. And the easy answer in this situation is his hero decided to be a moron and start claiming everyone's cheating. But that's not really why I wanted to call. I really wanted to call about... it's funny that someone that likes to post 2 days ago just happened to show up today because I was honestly about to start a Where is Waldo, because I was so concerned. Like, for a man that has brought so much money to this channel, for him to not have appeared but every 2 days ago to bring something up, and then it really got me thinking. It's like, this has got to be Rob's alter ego, because Rob does love his wrestling, and you've got Stone Cold Steve Austin and Hall. There used to be wasn't Razor's Edge, wasn't hit Scott Hall? Wasn't that
Scott Hall,
Razor's Edge name? I was like, maybe perhaps that's what happened here.
No, this is not Scott Hall going to
honestly,
WCW. No.
One thing I really want to talk about is funny.
Go ahead. I'm losing you.
When you did the stream with that gentleman, the beer, the cruise and whatever, great stream, by the way. It was very enjoyable, the conversation that you had with him. Sorry, I get crap reception when I'm working. No, you talked about the Mount Rushmore of
lost you.
Don't worry. Just go ahead. If you can't hear me, then you can't hear me. Just cut it. Thanks for the time, Rob.
Call it. Yeah, call next time. We'll talk to you, Lobster. Yeah, I'm glad he mentioned Brews and Cruise. That video is up, and let me put the link to that for you. Here, you can check it out here. Here's me on the Brews and Cruise podcast, just sort of talking about my life. Oh, that's the wrong one. That's Nick Cortez. Not looking there. What are we doing here? Oh, I'm on here somewhere. Am right wing, don't get me wrong, but yes, it's certainly true. It seems increasingly like I'm biased. So go over there and give him a like and check out that video. I think maybe you'll like it. If you missed the interview, it's up there in its entirety. He's a good dude. Up and comer as far as like doing podcasting and hosting different people. So check it out. Always a pleasure anytime someone wants to talk to me. And so I thought it was cool. I enjoyed it. It wasn't like a debate or anything, just sort of, conversation. Real close to our goal here, gentlemen. We could do it. Dumb guy, $5 says, thanks for what you do, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right. We got OTW up next. What's happening, OTW? How you doing?
Greetings. How are you doing?
I think it's our first time we've interacted. I'm doing great. It's great to talk
Absolutely to you, the first time. I'm actually excited right now. It's like it rarely happens to me. I'm pretty usually calm and not nervous, but for some reason, that little thing there, it's operating.
Well,
so anyway,
I'm humbled that you would say that. Thank you.
So I guess I came up because I pretty much wanted to acknowledge and present myself, obviously, and acknowledge, like the story that's been going on, the drama with the Raging Tomato and the Dusty and all of this. And, I am myself a panel host, right? So I have my own show and I do pretty much like similar to what other YouTubers in the higher echelon do. Mm-hmm. And I really resonate with the fact that you guys are kind of like two fingers of the same hand, right? When it comes to you and Andrew. Because I also have that same experience with another fellow YouTuber. I don't know if you know of Paul Enslaved.
Yes, I know of him. Yes, I've never interacted. Yeah.
All right. Well, you see, I guess you would be to Andrew as I would be to Mr. Enslavius, as we call them in our arena. So this is one of the reasons why I said I would like to present myself to you and to acknowledge the fact that there are parts of YouTube when it comes to the Panelverse that are not like these particular panels that I've seen you experience so far. And I see these people pretty much giving the Panelverse, okay, because this is a term that we all use down below, right? So it's giving the Panelverse a really bad name, right? And it might actually prevent bigger YouTubers from actually, co-creating with, the lower tier, right? So it's like I come in defense of the Panelverse on the other, I'm pretty much trying to represent that there are some of us out here are here to do the good works and bring out information and spread the good word. So it's and we're not all out here to troll, and we're not all out here to make fun of people. We're out here to actually share knowledge and have the good conversations, and we do entertain the chaos because the drama. It does, bring in the numbers. When you're talking about numbers, the drama does, And
so there's a couple things to say. First off, like I said earlier, I'd never heard the term Panelverse. I'm well aware that there are people. So you have to understand, when I was coming up, the panels were like people like Prime K's or Dylan Burns or people like that. Those were the panels that I was hopping on. These are left-wingers that had built up some sort of audience starting these panel debates like 2019. That's when I started doing them, and they were desperate for right-wingers. And so, particularly on a place like Twitch, where I was at most of the time, Twitch is very skewed to the moderation to the left. And so it was rare to have right-wingers on that space for two reasons. One, because of the moderation of the platform. Second, because it's sort of for video games, which tend to skew younger, which tend to skew left-leaning. So if you're doing a panel there and it's politics, you're probably going to get more lefties. So I did that. So I'm aware that there are other people that are doing panels. In no way, shape, or form, I think that, am I disparaging people that do the panels? In fact, quite to the contrary. I think that sometimes when I'm just enjoying content, I enjoy listening to people that are real-world people that don't have streams, that maybe you're maybe you're in the military, maybe you're a welder, maybe you're a teacher, maybe you're unemployed. It doesn't matter. People coming from different perspectives with different thoughts. And oftentimes I feel like listening to those sorts of people, I learn more or get more entertainment than listening to like, I'm going to listen to Mehdi Hassan debate Ben Shapiro. And it's like, it's sort
the
of,
echo chamber. Yeah,
I know what both of them
it.
are going to say. Now, it's not to say that both Mehdi and Ben aren't talented in their own ways. I'm not making that claim. I'm just saying it's something different. You tend to hear different voices. So I'm not disparaging the Panelverse. Real quick, another thing I want to say, though, is I also want to make it clear. I understand that if I'm going to say, well, me and Andrew are friends, it would be foolish and bias of me to not admit when you have a panel or something, you see the same people, you develop a relationship, and you're going to tend to have a bias to being friendly to them and having their back. So I don't mind the fact that, like on Sarah's panel, that there's sort of a clique. There's people that are there every day, and they're a clique, and they're going to stick together. Now, the way that they compose themselves, well, we're all going to go troll someone and we're going to gang up. That's fucking stupid and childish. But the idea that they're there for each other, completely understandable. My criticism was directly to Sarah and the goofs that were like on. When I heard her say Panelverse, I thought that was just her name for her thing. And I think that's what she means when she says the power of the Panelverse, you can't attack a host. Because I don't think she would say that.
She's delusional when she says that, because not all the Panelverse agrees with what she says. We're not going to band behind her because we don't agree with her.
If I said, for example, OTW is a piece of shit, I don't think she would have went on a stream saying, well, Rob can't say that. He went after a Panelverse host and we'll all band together. She wouldn't have said that. When she's saying Panelverse, she means the people in her group. And what my fundamental misunderstanding, and I can understand from people in other panels, would be when I'm playing like this video.
Well, it's like she's speaking for us, right?
Right.
And that's.
I play this video.
I think he doesn't know the power of the Panelverse.
Oh shit! Not the Panelverse! Oh no! Not the fucking Panelverse! Beware the Panelverse! He doesn't run afoul of the Panelverse! Who could know the great Sarah Tomato? The power she wields, the power of the Panelverse. That's not an insult to people that do panel. That's not even an insult to the people that go on Sarah's channel and do the panel. I'm merely making a point that I felt she was. This is in effect what I thought she was saying to me. Don't you know my clique? You don't fuck with my clique. You don't understand how powerful we are. And I was like, fuck you and your clique. That's not an insult to people that do panels. That's all it was on my part. So I apologize to anyone that thinks that I was trying to insult people. And when I say that I'm better than this, no, yes, I am literally saying that with Dusty and them. I am better than you, Dusty.
Well, yeah, but here, I just like chime in real quick and say that, there's an unspoken Panelverse war that's being waged underneath that nobody really is aware of, except for the ones that are in those communities that are warring against each other, right? So Dusty has his opposition when it comes to the Panelverse at the lower level, hence me, and hence a multitude of other people that don't kind of like subscribe to his way of operating. Okay, and there's the second thing I like to mention is, there's also a side of the Panelverse that doesn't either lean nor towards the right or the left or the red or the blue. There's a third party which doesn't actually care for that particular paradigm and don't believe in it, right? And think that it's a complete shit show, right?
Yeah, and I get it. I'm just like, when I say that I'm better, I just want to make this clear. I am above most of the people in the Panelverse. I don't mean that I'm smarter than you, that I'm better than you, that I'm more handsome than you.
I catch your drift.
What it means is this. It's like if you play minor league baseball and you do it for 5 years and now you get called up to the majors, you're probably not playing a pickup softball game, right? That's all I'm saying. And what I'm saying is, for example, if Ben Shapiro jumps on your panel, right? That's great, but he's also lowering his prestige of what it is.
I get it.
Yes. So what I'm saying is I will continue to do the panels because I love it. And I love debating and I love talking to people from different perspectives. I'll do those panels all the time. What I won't do is do those panels when it's blah, 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 and spurging out over me. And it's like, I'm only here for my enjoyment. That's it.
Right.
It doesn't really increase my channel anymore to talk to someone like Dusty. It doesn't really help me. In fact, the opposite would maybe be true, that maybe somewhat it's helping Dusty or Radical Coder or whatever to talk about me. And I just don't need it. And that's what I was when I left that channel the other day with Trippy, and I've apologized to Trippy, and I'm going to make it up to him. But the point I was trying to make to Dusty and Coder is like, if you're going to be a smartass and be like, I get to interrupt you, and great, that means I get more time to speak, then you can have all the time in the world, buddy. Enjoy your 2 hours, because I don't need you. I do not need you, and it's not because I have a higher IQ or I'm a better debater. It's because I did this for 5 years and I trudged through it, and I was able to work myself up to the point where I could actually get someone to reach out to me for a one-on-one debate. I could get on Tim Pool's show. I could debate, we were setting up a debate with the Krasensteins. I could do that. I could go on and debate Destiny. So why am I listening to some guy spurg out on me for no benefit to me? The only benefit I have for being there is that it's fun for me and for my audience. And that's why I love the panel people, because it is fun. It's fun to hear from these different, but if it's going to just be, hey, you're fat and I'm going to spurg out, I have no interest.
I'm going to encourage you to continue joining this Panelverse, because from our perspective, I'll speak for myself, like as a content creator and a broadcaster myself, is from my perspective, you know, don't stop doing that, because, you know, you're creating the bridge between the lower Panelverse echelons to the higher, you know, you're kind of like the bridge between them both. So you give, let us smaller creators the opportunity to be able to interact with the bigger YouTubers, right? In that context.
And so certainly, I'll say this. I do have other people to get to, but this is what I'll say.
Thank you for having me, man.
Send me a DM, and I'll be happy to join your panel at someday. I don't know. I know you guys sometimes talk about different topics that I might not have much to say on, but I'd be happy to join someday. And I wish you guys all the best. I really do.
Yeah, all right.
And I'll just say this. I do not begrudge anyone from your channel or anyone else that wants to continue to interact with Sarah or Dusty or Ryan. In fact, I don't even wish them ill. I'm not. It's just my personal choice that I don't need it anymore with those particular people. I said my piece. So
well, I did just 2 seconds. I did a review on the whole thing with Sarah and everything on my channel. So if ever you want to come and check it out, it's OTW Live. You can find it at OTW News 333. I did put it in private chat. So
OTW Live. Let's see. I'll look for you right now and we'll link your channel here. So if anyone wants to check it out, and if people are interested, do you take just like people you don't know? I accept everybody. We can have diverse panels. I'm kind of like half when Andrew the other day was explaining like standalone creators and people that depend on the Panelverse. I'm pretty much 50-50, right? Gotcha. I do the standalone, and I also do the Panelverse. That's smart. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. OTW, Thanks so much, man. I appreciate it. It was a great time.
Right.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Yep. All right, we got 4 callers in 22 minutes. You do the math. We're going to try real hard. Also, we're so close to our goal. I can't do the math real quick, but if someone just sends $200, I'm sure that'll get us past the goal. Don't leave Austin Hall win on the day that he was in the chat. Josie, what's happening? Great to hear from you. Josie.
Hey, can
there
you
you
hear
are.
me?
Yes, it's a little distant, but I hear you.
Oh, my bad. There was like a sticky button over there.
So what's on your mind? I'm sorry. I don't have a lot of time. I'm so sorry. But
I know you don't have a lot of time. Therefore, I will spare you. Here, I put a link in the chat. I was particularly proud of how your character came up. So if you want to check that out, it is 37 seconds.
in the private chat? Okay, yeah, I could, as long as it's on YouTube, so I assume it's TOS friendly. All right, let's do it. We'll put it in. Okay, here we go.
I think he doesn't know the power of the Panelverse.
Oh shit! Not the Panelverse! Oh no! Not the fucking Panelverse! Beware the Panelverse! He doesn't run afoul of the Who could know the great Sarah Tomato? The power she wields, the power of the Panelverse. Well, I will say this, and it's very funny, but here's the best part. It made me look much thinner which I'm very happy with. Very good. That's very good, though. I'll put the link in the chat there.
Cool, thank you. I got demonetized, so I mean, just enjoy it. Use it if you want. I did this for you guys, so I just thought that was funny.
Josie, thank you so much. Hey, I'll let you go. Any day you want to call back in. I do the call-in show around noon. But thank you so much. It's funny, too. Thank you.
Yeah, you have a good one.
All right, take it easy. All right. We got to the goal. How about that? Who did it? Jay Putz, $2 says, what's the best way to come chat with Rob? Call-in shows. There's a link at the top of YouTube. We do a call-in show most weekdays at noon Eastern time till 2:30. As you can see, we got 20 minutes left in this one. We got 3 guests left to come. That's the best way to just call and chat. Now, eventually this show's going to be limited to 3 days a week because I'm finding out that it's difficult to get things done around the house that I need to get done. So, this week and last week are insane because I'm doing the extravaganza for the Crucible. So it's literally like I stream till 3 in the morning. I get to bed at like 4. I wake up. I do some background things for the channel. I come on. I do this. I leave at 2:30. I pick up my son. I come back. I start production meeting for the extravaganza. Extravaganza finishes at 6. I go. I have dinner. By 7:30, I come back up here. Then I'm streaming at 8 p.m. So, it will cut back. It's going to cut back some, but noon Eastern time, most weekdays, you can call in. Halouse, $10 says, and with this, the goal is met. Oh, snap. Goal. Thank you so much, Halouse. And John Smith, $5 says, seeing Skinny Enemy, Rob, made me believe I too can get ripped. Thank you. All right. Per se, then we got Machine Lies, then Plastic African. What's up, Per se? How you doing?
Hello, I'm good. Yourself?
Good. I was hoping you weren't speaking French. I failed miserably at 2 years of French in high school.
Français. Yeah, I am a Quebecer.
Je m'appelle Robert. On parle français un peu.
Enchanté. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about Daniel a bit.
Sure.
I've been playing chess all my life, so like I know I've been following Daniel and a lot of other content creators. It's very sad that he passed away. And I think like just watching his videos over the years and like how recently with Kramnik, the whole thing just became. Sorry, I'm looking for my words here, but
it's hard.
There's especially like as a content creator, I think there's a big sorry, I was not prepared at all to
No. Well, let me see if I maybe like, are you trying to say like the pressure that's put on you as a content creator?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say here. So being like a content creator and all that, I think Daniel had a lot to deal with, and there was sorry. I'll cut it short, but like
well, let me say what you think. Let's see if you think of this, how I could put it in sort of the context that I could see. I debate, right? That's probably the bulk of my channel that people tune in for, means debate. If I get embarrassed and lose a debate, it doesn't matter what sort of face I put on. It affects you to some degree. Now, what would happen if all of a sudden it turns out that the people that are watching me because they want debate advice or they enjoy watching me win debates, if I somehow had cheated and that there was actually something else, I had an earpiece in and I was just saying words that someone else was saying, and I'm a phony. I was incapable of doing any of that. The pressure of how that would make you feel if you had the certain type of temperament would be immense, because not only are you competing to a degree, but you have this massive audience that's looking at you somewhat as their representative or as their champion. And I think that's part of what goes on with these chess streamers. The pressure is amazingly high. Because it's not just that you have to be entertaining and that you have to be someone that's informative, but you're also competing. And unlike what I do, there's a winner and a loser. There's no hiding from it. You won the game or you lost the game. And so if you're a grandmaster and people tune into you and all of a sudden you start losing a bunch of games, that's got to affect you. But what would affect you even more is if everything you built with all this immense pressure that you're under is basically being impugned, that you're a liar. And what do you do if you can't prove it? What do you do if you can't prove that you're not lying and you legitimately know that you're not? But no matter what, people are going to say, you're a liar, you're a liar, you're cheating, you're cheating, you're cheating. I can only imagine the amount of stress that would put. And so I absolutely, I think I know what you're saying. Like, I've watched him for years too. And, you know, I think that if now, I guess hindsight's 2020, if you go back and look at like the past 2-3 months, you could tell something's off, that there really is. And it was getting to him.
You definitely see it. And it's incredibly hard to make a living too. Like Magnus Carlsen even said it himself. Like, there's only about 8 people that can live off of just playing chess all their life. The others have to go with like being like a content creator and all that, and try other avenues to make a living. Just like Levy himself, like he's at 6 million, he's doing very well himself, but he's not at the very high compete like level to be able to like compete and be able to live from those means. But yeah,
well, and it's like it's absolutely like in a weird way, Danya's involved in 2 activities that the overwhelming amount of people fail to make a living at: chess and then streaming. Like, and when you combine the two, how many people stream chess and are incapable of making a living? I mean, there are thousands upon thousands. You can go right now to YouTube and you can find incredible channels of intelligent people that have legitimate chess titles like FIDE Master or International Master, and they're streaming to 200 views. Not live, 200 views total. And so it's like, imagine being a person that I could look at, or an average person could look at it in awe and be like, my goodness, you could play a simultaneous, you could play a blindfolded game. You have that sort of spatial awareness. You're this sort of genius. Wow, people must really be into watching your content. Yeah, I have 3 live viewers. I mean, it's surreal. The amount of competition and intensity and the amount of work you have to put in to be a top-level chess player. It's a full-time job. So what happens if you can't make a living at it? And so it really, I mean, it is the type of, I only in the smallest space tangentially understand, in the sense that in debate, almost no one makes a living doing debate. And in streaming, I'm a streamer, so I get this a little of sort of what he's going on. But I could understand the intense pressure. And it's really a shame. It's no matter who you want to blame or anything, Danya seemed like a person that was really a good-hearted person, and it's a shame that this is how it ended. So I do wish him and his family well, but I totally get what you're saying. I think the pressure had to be immense. I only wish that he could have understood that if you just take a global view of it, if you look, it's like, it's not all that, right? It's like, there are things that are more important. Let the rabbling crowd say what they want. You know, you got your friends, you got your loved ones, and that's what matters. So.
Yeah, well said. Well, thank you for having me on. That's all I wanted to mention.
Hey, I appreciate you calling in. And I'm glad that at least one person, at least knew a little of the story I was talking about, because I don't have a lot of crossover probably with a lot of chess people, but
I know
it was a sad story.
A lot about it. Yeah, it's sad that happened. As any
Well, hey, thank you.
Love the show, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I'm on here pretty much every day, just watching. Merci beaucoup.
All right, man. What's that? A bientôt. Did I get that? Was that?
A bientôt. Oui.
Yeah. All right, man.
Or you can say à plus tard, which means like till later.
Amazing. All right, we'll talk to you later. Take it easy.
All right. Bye, Rob.
All right, keep getting those super chats in. To the person who just DM'd me, if you're watching, thank you so much for the message. I promise I'll respond in a more serious way later, but I have to get moving here. All right, next up, Machine Lies. What's happening, man? I think we've talked before.
We have. Yeah, we had a long conversation before. I mean, after one of the arena shows.
Yes.
And, I mean, with Richie. So,
do you still talk to Richie? How's he doing?
I have not talked to him for a long time.
I like Richie.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, me too. Yeah, we were good friends for a while there. I think he like fell out of the internet space or whatever, or I haven't seen him around or whatever.
Probably good, to be honest. Probably doing better than us.
Exactly. Right, exactly. Yeah, he did. Make some huge appearances on my show. After that, more
smart
whatever.
guy. He's a good guy, man.
Yeah. I started doing a live stream after I debated Andrew Wilson. So so it was a fun debate.
What'd you guys talk about?
Technology, right? So it was about on technological collapse. So I sort of opened up about the arguments from the manifesto. So I won't mention too much of that over here, just to,
no
not
problem.
get your channel struck or whatever. But
sure.
But yeah, so dangerous topics. Wilson debated on, very controversial topics.
Yeah, that YouTube don't like some of that stuff being talked about. I will say the first caller here today, if you go back and watch this video, Evan talked about this Muslim scholar that was talking about people in these first world countries that maybe have higher IQ or their cultures lead them to creating these technologies, which ends up then you look at these countries that we would consider third world that end up suffering the negative effects of those. So for example, if we create some technology in the West because we've sort of lost sight of like spirituality and we're just like, oh, it's all about science, advancement, whatever, and that leads to the world precipitously becoming worse, these people over here that had nothing to do with that technology are now affected by it, even though they had no say in it. Like they're not even in the same country. It's an interesting thought experiment and an interesting thing to think about because, maybe you'll have a take on this. I was like, imagine if the Large Hadron Collider ends up destroying the world in 3 years. Me and you didn't have any connection to that. We had no say. It wasn't like we were asked our opinion. Do you think this is a good idea or not? We just exist. And these people did this thing. And if it has negative ramifications to us, what do we do about it? So
that's part of the that's part of the view that I represent because it's clear to me that the the world that was created by Christian civilization was a lot more sane than the world that's created by liberalism and science today, right? So when I think of conservatism, right? So you represent conservatism. I was kind of saying this to Mirnachuk, back in the private chat, that I support their position, against the Enlightenment philosophy. Right, that sort of spurred on, science and liberalism, sort of the scientific worldview, sort of nihilistic, worldview. So, so it's clear that liberals, by default, support that sort of globalizing influence of technology and all that sort of thing. So that's why I go to the conservatives because, you guys actually make sense, right? So you guys actually have a sane view.
Listen, let's be very careful about TOS. But one of these people that did a very heinous crime had famously said that he'll be held as a hero by the end of time because what we'll quickly realize is that technology is going to spiral out of control, that he was sort of on the cusp of it saying we must stop it now before it gets too late. Now, what does that mean today? What does the world look like in a future of AI? I was talking about this. You might find this interesting. Matt Walsh, who you may not be a big fan of, but do you know who I'm talking about? He's from the Daily Wire.
I think so. Yeah.
Go to Matt Walsh's X account.
Right.
Yes, I believe
he's
so.
a Catholic influencer. Yeah.
So he's talking 2 days ago. He has a 25-minute up, and it's about culture. And what he's talking about is this. He's like, the cultural high water mark was like 2008. And he lists a bunch of movies and a bunch of TV shows. Forget about all that. The reason that it matters, though, that he's talking about movies and TV, he's like, we used to have a shared culture in that we were all watching the same TV shows. We were all watching the same movies. And now, and sure, there were gatekeepers. There was Hollywood. There was the networks, etc. But now the gatekeeper is the algorithm. It's not even human. And no one even really knows how it works. And here's the problem. This means that instead of all being like, Brad Pitt's a celebrity. Now who are the celebrities? Ask like a 12-year-old, who's your favorite person? They're going to name some YouTuber you've never heard of. And we don't have that connection. Now, here's the real problem. As at least it's still human content creators. What do we do when the content curated for you is specifically designed to you and isn't even created by a human? And that we're all in this little bubble. And your favorite movie or TV show is going to be something made specifically for you, right? By prompts that you think that you came up with, but in actuality, it was prompts that the machine itself convinced you to put in. And so all of a sudden we lose all connection to humanity because we no longer have shared interests. We're all just independently living in our own little technological space. Now, I think there's hope out of this, but he's very black-pilled. He's very much like, we're sort of screwed,
Well, that's kind of, the guy that you're talking about, right? He sort of critiques leftism in this fashion, right? He says that it both isolates and interconnects. So he says that leftists have both a feeling of inferiority, right? That comes from this sense of alienation or this sense of hyper-individualism, right? Because they feel atomized, right? But they also are over-socialized, right? Because they're over-socialized by the technology, right? So they're kind of like, the way they communicate with the world or interface with the world isn't through traditional means or even natural means, right? Or even human to human connection. It's, as you said, it's mediated through the algorithm, through the machine, right? So,
well, hey, I'd be happy to talk to you anytime. I really would. Like I said, I do normal.
Thank you for having me.
I have a hard out at 2:30 because I picked my son up from school. It's a pleasure to talk to you again, man.
Of course. Yeah, I wanted I kind of touch base here because I have sort of had bad relations with Andrew Wilson, but I like you a lot. I support you in the recent interaction with the Panelverse. So definitely great job there. Exposing the powder dusty, and I'm definitely a fake grifter there. So yeah, blessings to you, Rob, and thank you for having me.
Same to you, man. Thanks so much. Yep. Also, thank you to Sir Richard Richard Cranium. I know what that means. $5 over on Rumble. Thank you so much. He says, for the grift. Thank you. All right, last up. It's going to be a banger. The last person, Plastic African. How you doing today?
Hi, how are you, man? You're
I'm
right?
doing great. Thanks for calling in, man. Appreciate it. So I got like 5 minutes. I got to be out at 2:30 to pick up my son.
First time listener, first time caller, but it should be the other way. Anyway.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it, man. Honored.
Absolutely. I hope you do well. Like you said with the debate always sits at the House, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The House has to choose which one is the better ideal here, right? And like you were saying with the other callers in the before, where we're going here as the Western foundation, because that's what we are born upon and what we have and what our ideas. Again, America, I would say, would be the pinnacle, the arrowhead of those things, be it because of how Christendom moved on, because of maybe, what was it? Not Catholicism, but, the other one.
Protestantism, is that what, yeah.
That's on the Protestants, but also being that Protestantism was about taking money away, not usury laws, the way that created. So it's our freedom of expression and all those things that we have, our autonomy, if you will. And as you were saying, with what the youth are to where we come from, is we're forgetting our analog stage and we're moving into a digital where something is easy because it is easy to be. And humans, as an overall, we are like electricity to the, easiest route. Bang. That's what we are, because we don't see it. And our numbers sort of justify that. And these numbers, again, via scale over the global initiative that's happening is kind of terrifying. When you if you could sit back and see it, and many people can't. It is an odd example of where and how or where are we going is the main thing. Hence why SpaceX and saying that we need an offshore station to ensure how, again, our survival of where we've really come from, or what we really are. And we're going to use, technology like war gains us that development, right? That's the whole thing with what's going on with, I would say, Ukraine and Russia and all that. It's proxies, because it's still about evolution of technology and stretching that.
So there's a channel I'm going to recommend to you. I'm putting it in the chat right now, and it's my friend Spiro's channel. Now, Spiro talks a lot about technology, particularly about AI. One of the things he told me that sort of illustrates what you're talking about, I think that blows me away, is take away what you think of AI and what it will do and whether it's good or bad. Did you know that they're talking about building nuclear power plants just to provide the energy just for one AI company? That's the amount of, now this is the most literal way that you could look at the literal resource that we as humans are putting into AI, that it will literally require so much energy. And it's something I'll just say this real quick. They were explaining to me, him and my friend Manton, they're explaining to me the other day that it's something like the AI bubble, when it pops, like the .com bubble, it's going to be worth $14 trillion that's going into a black hole. And so when you see how much importance we put on this technology that's not even not proven, but arguably, and I think correctly, that it's going to be a net negative, right? It's not even a net positive,
No, I would argue that the bigger deal is trying to create the quantum machine outside of our analog systems we have. We utilize quantum mechanics in different variables, always, we are the witnesses. So we know these things happen amongst us. It's in ourselves. We, as we write this ourselves with what we perceive as a time. Yeah. So with what's going on, that's just a money grabbing thing, an exercise, because the overall part is trying to make this quantum talk to us, or we talk to it as a UI. to find out.
I will say,
and we're bailing right into that. That's what these people are hoping for, because they see a doomsday event always.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying that I'm a dumb redneck. A lot of this is above me. Yeah, right. A lot of it. Like, I interact with the world like in a more of a practical sense. And I'm glad that like oftentimes when you hear someone talk, I see this in things I know a little about. So I know politics. I'll talk to a dude that's like a truck driver, and he'll say something that seemingly is not political, but it's like, hot damn. Like, that's the political point right there. And I'm glad that I'm talking about these things in a way that even someone like you that's thinking about it more could be like, right, there's a more like high-minded way to describe. So I appreciate the call, Plastic African. I'd be happy to talk to you again. I do have to get running. I got to pick my son up at school, but it was a pleasure, man.
But before I go, as you said, take time for yourself, your health, and food. And make sure, as we should do as Christians, is feed others. As in feed what you know. Don't be afraid of it. Always take it with you. The Spirit is always amongst you. Always will be. Hey, thank you.
Great advice. Thank you so much, man. Thank you. How about that? We got some different calls today. Enjoyed it. Yeah, like, people talk about things in a philosophical way that maybe my small brain's incapable of like processing in the language specifically as other people will. But I think it's solid advice, right? The idea of taking care of yourself. Technology, man. We talk a lot of that technology today from various people. It's good callers today. You guys have been incredibly generous. Thank you so much. It was a little different. We started off talking about the chess topic and stuff, and I didn't know how it would go. I didn't know if my audience would say, I don't know, not for me. But I'm glad. I think I enjoyed the show. I hope you guys did as well. I'm going to be on at 5 p.m. Eastern over at the Crucibles Rumble channel, and I will be with Jake Rattlesnake, another episode of Himbo and the Fat. Me and Jake will be doing the extravaganza today from 5 to 6, so check it out. Then I'll be back at 8:30. I'll probably be 8 o'clock. I got a debate on globalism on Speakeasy's channel here the other day, or here this evening. So if you ever want to send me money and I'm not live, please consider sending to PayPal at robnoerr, buymeacoffee.com/robnoerr, or Cash App at $RobNoerr. Also, if you send me a request on Cash App, that's a request for me to pay you. So probably not going to do it. All right. You guys are the best. Thank you so much. Thank you to all my mods. Thank you to all the people that called in, everyone who donated, everyone who liked the stream, everyone who chatted, everyone who just watched and didn't do any of those things. Thank you to all of you. Thank you to my editor, Black Elk, the guy that helps me out with Tech Spiro. All you guys were great today. Thanks so much. We're going to raid over to the great Jim Bob. Hope you enjoy that. It should be a lot of fun. I will be heading out to pick up my son, and then I'll be back up here 5 o'clock for the extravaganza with the Crucible. If not, I'll see you tonight around 8 p.m. Eastern time. We'll be debating globalism. Looking forward to it. As always, you guys have a good one. And never forget the memory of Charlie Kirk, what he accomplished in this world, and the people that celebrated the death of a great man like that. So God bless Charlie Kirk and his family. We'll see you all soon.
Only in America is it possible to say, you know what, I don't like the way the country is going, and to do something about it. Take that risk. Take that leap of faith. Stay involved. Trust God and act obediently. Romans 12:2 verse. That God will use all things for good for those who love him. It's bigger than you. I want you to remember that. It is bigger than you. It's bigger than me. You are here to make somebody else's life better, the pursuit of liberty and freedom. You know what gives me strength? The hundreds of thousands of you that say, Charlie, keep going.
1 Corinthians 5 and 15. So that's all pretty amazing evidence, not just intra-biblical evidence, but extra-biblical evidence that Jesus Christ was a real person. He lived a perfect life. He was crucified, died, and rose on the third day, and he is Lord and God of all.